Chapter 250. No way, you. This isn't the time to joke around. If we get caught by them, we'll lose our lives. Sima Yuyang cried out. Although he really wanted Fei Niao, he was not going to trade his life for it. He hadn't lived long enough. What are you afraid of? I'll give you a big bird today. Sima Yue said with a smile. Little Rock brought them down to the ground. Sima Yue took advantage of the time when the flying beasts were chasing after them to throw something into the ground. It's been a long time since we've met a human. Today, we can have a good meal, said the goshawk. 9 people. We can get 1 person. Vulture's voice was sharp and full of hostility. I want that brat in the middle. His skin is soft and tender, so he should be more delicious. A giant condor said. Then I want that girl. Sima Yue was speechless as she looked at the huge birds. Instead of attacking them, they started to split their heads. They were really looking down on them. Hey, did you ask for our permission to split the spoils like this? She asked, attracting the attention of the group of giant birds. This little baby is talking to us? The giant eagle said in disbelief. I think so. Do we still need to ask for the food's permission when we're distributing it? Zhu Niao stared at her with a terrifying gaze. Sima Yue was not frightened. She smiled and said, We don't intend to be your food. Instead, we want you to be our contracted beasts. Contract beast? The big birds were stunned at first, then they laughed. Humans like you want us to be your contract beasts? What shameless boasting. My brothers have taken a liking to you. It's your honor to be contracted with you. Sima Yue said, Come over if you're obedient, or I'll beat you up until you surrender. Sima Yuyang and the others looked at Sima Yuyu, their faces full of worship. This was what a powerful person should be like. She even dared to say this to a group of spirit beasts. What arrogance! Since you're in such a hurry to die, I'll fulfill your wish. I'll kill all of you first, then we'll divide them. Goshawk snorted coldly. Little Rock flew in front of Sima Yue and shouted, Who dares to hurt my master? Goshawk glanced at Little Rock and said, It's just a 2nd-level divine beast, and it wants to stop us? You're just a group of level 3 and 4 divine beasts. How dare you scold my spirit beasts? Be careful, I'll roast a bird if I'm unhappy. Sima Yuyu shouted. Not only Sima Yuyang, but even Sima Yulin was stunned. This guy's tone was too big. Good. I'll kill your contract beast first, then I'll kill you. Goshawk was furious. Is my contracted beast something you can kill just because you want to? Sima Yue glanced at Goshawk and said, I'll say it again. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and let us form the contract. Otherwise, I'll beat you into submission. What an arrogant human. Vulture said, I want to see how you're going to beat us into submission today. A 2nd-level divine beast is not enough. Even with the few of you, you won't be able to beat us. Goshawk said. Who said we're going to fight you? Sima Yue said, Hey, you should all have divine beasts, right? Call them out. They want to bully us with so many divine beasts. We have to fight them back. Sima Yuyang and the others were speechless, but they could only call out their own contracted beasts. For more, but it's still not enough. Vulture said with a big smile. Enough, what's the point of playing with them? Just kill them all. A 5th-ranked black eagle said impatiently. Don't. Vulture said, It's been so many years since someone came in. Now that a few people have come in, let's play. What's there to play? The black eagle scolded, Cultivation is more important. A spirit paragon ranked divine beast. Sima Yue looked at the black eagle, her eyes shining. Big brother, how about this one? Do you like it? Not bad. Sima Yuming nodded. Then it's settled. This black eagle is my big brother's. Sima Yue said, Hey, what's your name? Do you want to choose one now, or do you want to wait until you defeat them? Everyone looked at her speechlessly. Even if they had 4 more divine beasts now, it wouldn't be enough to defeat them. Furthermore, their divine beasts were all 1st or 2nd ranked. They were much weaker than their opponents. What arrogance! The giant eagle snorted. Little wasp, someone bullied me. You have to help me beat the bad guy. Sima Yue said as she called out the Scarlet Queen Bee. Scarlet Queen Bee. The big birds recognized the Scarlet Queen Bee and were extremely happy. If I eat it, I'll be able to break through 3rd rank and become a 4th ranked divine beast. Don't even think about it. Little wasp is mine. Sima Yue hugged the Scarlet Queen Bee, saying, 1,000 resonance, Yaguang, you guys come out as well. At the same time, 2 divine beasts came out. 1,000 resonance was the same rank as Onyx. Yaguang had also grown to become a 2nd ranked spirit beast because of Sima Yue. It's 8 against 8 now. With little roar, it's 9 against 8. Sima Yue said, brothers, call out your spirit beasts as well. Sima Yu Ming and the others nodded and called out their own spirit beasts. Although they weren't divine beasts yet, they were close to becoming divine beasts. When Sima Yu Lin and the others saw this, they called out their other contracted beasts as well. As expected, they were all high-ranked saint beasts. It's useless no matter how many spirit beasts you bring, Goshawk said. What's the rush? I haven't finished calling them out. Sima Yue said, 1,000 resonance. Do you have any objections if I call out your clansmen? 1,000 resonance nodded, saying, they've been in there for too long. They want to fight too. Chapter 251. A big bird didn't believe it. It snorted coldly and wanted to fly up into the sky, but after flying a few meters, it couldn't fly any higher. What did you do? That large bird was alarmed and roared. I didn't do anything. I just left some things here. As Sima Yue spoke, she injected some spiritual energy into the ground. The spiritual energy did not dissipate, but rushed around the ground and formed a large array. Spatial ceiling array. Sima Yu Lin understood and cried out in surprise. Sima Yue glanced at him. She did not expect him to recognize the array. That's right, the moment she landed on the ground, she set up a space ceiling array. When those big birds landed, she secretly activated the array and sealed the space here. Sima Yu Lin was once again stunned by Sima Yu. Apart from being an alchemist and a beast tamer master, she was also an array master. That move of hers just now was not something an ordinary person could do. Is he even human? He couldn't help but curse in his heart. Even someone as intelligent as him was greatly provoked by her. When he was with her, no matter how amazing the person was, he would only be reduced to a supporting role. Alright, the door is already closed. Let's take care of them now. Today, we must beat them into submission. After Sima Yu finished speaking, she pulled Sima Yu Ming and the others out, allowing the group of spirit beasts to gang up on them. Ah! Who hit my eyes? Ouch! Sima Yue looked at the scene and said faintly, I think ganging up is not bad. It's a pity that my mental strength is full now. Otherwise, I could contract 2 more mythological beasts and have an army of beasts when I go out in the future. I can beat up whoever I don't like. How cool would that be? The faces of the people behind him were filled with black lines. This guy was still lamenting that his spiritual power was full? Did she even consider their feelings? In the end, not a single one of the 8 birds managed to escape. They were all beaten until they lost the ability to move and lay on the ground. Only their eyes were still filled with unwillingness. Sima Yue walked over and said, just accept it. You'll only be able to stay in this small place forever. You might as well be contracted and go outside to see the world. We don't accept it. Goshawk glared at Sima Yue. There's nothing you can do even if you accept it. I'm not here to talk terms with you. You are now my brothers. If you accept it, you'll accept it later. After speaking, Sima Yu placed her hand between the goshawk's eyebrows and activated the Imperial Beast art to tame it. He. Is she still a beast tamer? 2. T. At that time, I think I was only 15, not 16. Sima Yu Lu replied. 19 years old alchemist. Beast tamer. Heavens. Let me die. I want to start my life all over again. Sima Yu Yang howled. You missed something. He's an array master. Sima Yu Lin added. We didn't know that 5th bro would become an array master. But I don't think I'd be surprised if he said he was an armament master. Sima Yu Ran said. He's really abnormal. Sima Yuyang was stunned for a long time before he spat out this sentence. The spirit beasts that fifth bro tamed are different. You'll know when you contract them. Sima Yulu said with a smile. There's something special about beast taming? Sima Yuyang looked at Sima Yulu. That guy didn't say anything. 2 days later, Sima Yue finished taming the 8 big birds. She stood up and saw everyone's shocked expressions. What's wrong with you guys? You've tamed 8 divine beasts? Sima Yulan said blankly. Sima Yue nodded, saying, That's right. I've already tamed all 8. You guys can go and choose the ones you like. We're not talking about this. We want to ask if you're not tired from taming so many divine beasts? Sima Yuqing said, I'm a little tired. I can't take so much spirit energy. Sima Yue said, You guys can contract them yourselves. I'm going to rest for a while. After speaking, she sat down on the empty ground and began to digest the energy that the tamed beasts gave her. Since the Black Hawk is Big Brother Yu Ming's, we'll choose the remaining one. Sima Yuqing said, I like that big vulture. I want it. Sima Yulu said, Then I'll choose that goshawk. Sima Yuyang didn't stand on ceremony and went up to hug the goshawk. Very quickly, everyone chose the ones they liked and prepared to contract them. I remember now. Yulu, what's the special thing you were talking about? Sima Yuyang prepared to contract them and suddenly asked. You'll know when you're done. Sima Yulu said as he began to contract his big vulture. At this time, Sima Yoyue's body lit up with the light of advancing in rank, attracting everyone's attention. 5th ranked spirit overlord. This guy, can't he not attack us? Sima Yuyang's mouth twitched. He had the urge to beat him up. Comparisons are odious. His talent is even better than Big Brother Yulin's. Sima Yuqing said, Sai, quickly contract them. I really don't want to see him. Sima Yulan said. Right now, she felt that her talent wasn't even worth mentioning. The 8 of them formed their contracts one after another. After the light of their contracts faded, Sima Yulin and the others were shocked. However, seeing how calm Sima Yuming and the others were, they knew that this was the special thing that they were talking about. You can advance in rank after forming a contract. This is the first time I've heard of it. After it ended, Sima Yang was still in a daze. He felt that it was too surreal for him to have advanced by 2 ranks just like that. That's because the divine beast you formed a contract with is of a high rank. Otherwise, how could you advance by 2 ranks? Sima Yulin understood the mystery and said. Sima Yuyang tossed his hair, saying, No matter what, I've advanced by 2 ranks. Ha, it's too incredible. Those big birds were no longer calm. They looked at each other and said, I actually advanced in rank. I haven't advanced in rank for a long time. Me too. If I knew that I could advance in rank, we wouldn't have fought. Isn't that so? Sima Yulu patted the vulture's head, saying, You guys will definitely become stronger if you follow us. Yu's spirit beasts will grow along with their master's strength. Sima Yuyang was walking when he almost tripped over his own feet. He turned around and looked at the person who was still in meditation. His intuition told him that she still had many secret weapons. She still had many abilities. Furthermore, the Sima family would once again become the pillars of the Yilin continent because of her arrival. Chapter 252. By the time Sima Yue recovered, everyone had already formed the contract and was waiting for her. Yu, have you recovered? Sima Yuyang was sitting beside her. When he saw that she had woken up, he beamed as he asked. Sima Yue was shocked and said, Why are you smiling so slyly? Are you up to no good? I don't have any bad intentions. I just want to ask about those foxes of yours. Before Sima Yuyang could finish speaking, Sima Yu immediately stretched out a hand and covered his mouth, saying, Those are Thousand Resonance's clansmen. Don't you dare have any ideas about them. Sima Yuyang took her hand away, saying, I don't have any ideas about them. I just want to ask, the fox dishes you made a while ago, were they chosen from them? How is that possible? Those were all from the back of the mountain. Sima Yue retracted her hand, stood up and said, Since everything is done, let's leave this place. I'll withdraw the array formation first. She went to collect all the materials. These were rare materials and could not be wasted. Let's go. Let's continue searching for opportunities. She looked at the vulture and goshawk, causing them to feel a chill down their spines. Why did they feel that the opportunity was theirs? Although each of them had a flying beast, they still sat on Little Rock's back, glorifying it as, "Little Rock flies fast." Little Rock led them through the grassy plains and over the tall mountains. They saw some disciples of the various clans, and soon after, they arrived at the foot of a mountain. Grandfather said before that many opportunities lie here. Sima Yuyang said. Then let's go into the mountains to search. Everyone dismounted from Little Rock's back. Some of the disciples who had arrived here first came over to join them. Why are you all outside? Aren't you going to enter the mountain? Sima Yulin asked with a frown. There are many divine beasts in the mountain. We don't dare to enter. A branch disciple said. There are divine beasts. Sima Yuyue's eyes lit up, she rubbed her chin and said, Why don't we kill them all? Do you know how many divine beasts there are? There should be quite a few of them. The disciple said, Oh, why don't we keep those divine beasts first before going to look for opportunities? Sima Yu asked Sima Yulin. In any case, she did not have the bloodline of the Sima family, and those inheritances would not belong to her. She might as well help the people of the Sima family improve their strength first, so that the old fox would have nothing to say. Sima Yulin, as the number one of the younger generation, would naturally think for the clan. It was important to increase the overall strength of the clan, so he agreed to Sima Yuyu's suggestion. He let the person who came first lead the way, and the group of people went to wipe out the divine beasts. When those people heard it, they were so scared that they trembled. However, when they saw that Sima Yuyang and the others had called out their own divine beasts, they relaxed and led them into the mountains to look for their divine beasts. 5 to 6 divine beasts were cultivating by the lakeside. When they saw someone approaching, they wanted to scold him, but they found themselves surrounded by a group of divine beasts. Are you going to submit yourselves, or are you going to wait for us to beat you into submission? The young man in the lead was very arrogant. Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to us like this? The divine beast in the lead asked coldly. Boss, that looks like those big birds from the grassy plains. The divine beast in the back said, It's really them. Why are they with the humans? You're asking me, but how would I know? They seem to have been contracted by someone. It's true. Then they're going to help the humans deal with us? I'll give you the time it takes for a stick of incense to burn to decide. Are you going to submit yourselves, or are you going to be beaten into submission? The young man in the lead said. It was impossible for them to submit to the humans. As such, after the time it took for a stick of incense to burn, the young man in the lead waved his hand, and the group of divine beasts attacked them, beating a few divine beasts to the ground. Sima Yuyu walked over and squatted beside the divine beast in the lead, saying, You already said that you're going to submit, but you just had to suffer this beating. Isn't the result the same? Be obedient and let me tame you. After speaking, she placed her hand on the divine beast's forehead and began to tame it. When the disciples of the Sima family saw that Sima Yu was actually taming a divine beast, they were all shocked speechless. Sima Yuyang saw their expressions and nodded satisfactorily. It seemed that he was not the only one who was shocked silly. Let's go. We'll take this opportunity to catch a few more divine beasts and wait for those flutes to come so we can contract them. Sima Yulin said, Master, I know where the divine beasts are. Vulture shamelessly sold out all the divine beasts in the clan. After hearing what he said, everyone was speechless. There were actually so many divine beasts here. It was no wonder that many people died every time they came in. Close to 100 divine beasts. This kind of power was definitely a force to be reckoned with in the Sophia mountain range. It's a good thing that many divine beasts don't come out. Otherwise, those who came in before might have all died. Sima Yuqing said with lingering fear. Sima Yuyang grinned, saying, That's just right. We'll catch them all this time and contract them, then bring them out. In any case, they won't be able to leave if they don't contract them. They can only waste their lives in this small clan. Let's go and sweep the place. But The Sima family's disciples were all energized and followed Sima Yuyang to sweep the place. In the close to a month's time, the Sima family members swept the divine beasts, watched Sima Yuyu tame them, contract them and advance in rank. To them, this month was like a dream. This kind of life was something that they would never have dared to imagine in the past. In the end, Sima Yuyu tamed a total of 90 divine beasts. In addition to the 8 large birds from before, she had a total of 90 divine beasts. The young people who came in with her came one after another. She was only in charge of taming them. The distribution was left to Sima Yulin and the other young masters to manage. After taming the last divine beast, Sima Yu felt that she could advance in rank again. Thinking about how she had only advanced by 1 rank, she suppressed all her spirit energy in her body and did not advance in rank. Those who haven't gotten any divine beasts, don't be anxious. We've gotten so many divine beasts here. When the time comes, we'll take them out and go to the mountains to catch some divine beasts for Yuyu to tame and contract them. Otherwise, you can only contract saint beasts. Sima Yuyang said to the remaining people. Young master, we're not anxious. We'll go out and catch some divine beasts. Those who hadn't contracted any divine beasts said, Okay, there's still a month's time. Everyone, go and look for your own opportunities. Sima Yuyang waved his hand and everyone dispersed. With everyone together, even if they found something good, there wouldn't be enough to share. Sima Yu looked at Sima Yuming and the others, saying, Big brother, you guys go too. Okay, we'll meet outside. Sima Yuming and the others left as well. Sima Yuyu stood alone by the lake and looked at the 3 mountains beside the lake. Sima Yulin said that it was the family's inheritance and that only those who were related by blood could enter. Many people went to the 3 mountains just now. My intuition tells me that there's something good inside. It's a pity that I can't go in. Suddenly, she felt that there was something calling out to her from the mountain in the middle. She couldn't help but walk over. Chapter 253. Sima Yuyu came to the front of the mountain. This mountain was slightly smaller than the other 2 mountains. Previously, many of the disciples had chosen the 2 sides of the mountain. Only Sima Yulin and the others had chosen this one. There was a large rock at the foot of the mountain. There was a palm-shaped groove on it, and there were messy footprints in front of the rock. It was obvious that the person who had just entered had stepped on it. Sima Yue walked around the mountain but did not find any way to enter or leave. Could it be that only bloodlines can enter? She came to the stone and stared at it for a long time, but she still couldn't figure it out. This thing can distinguish the power of bloodlines, she muttered, but she still placed her right hand on it. Maybe this isn't accurate and outsiders can also enter. Sima Yue felt that her palm was stung by something. She clearly saw that the inside of the groove was smooth and there was nothing there. What was it? She picked it up and saw a small hole in her palm. Her blood was dripping into the groove. This thing is really strange. Sima Yue looked at her blood slowly seeping into the stone. Suddenly, a ray of white light shot out from the groove. It was too dazzling, so she instinctively closed her eyes and put her hands in front of her. Yue. Sima Yuyu heard Sima Yuyang's voice and opened her eyes. She saw that she was already in a cave. Sima Yulin, Sima Yang, Sima Yulan and Sima Yuqing looked at her suspiciously. Why are you guys here? Sima Yu asked. We wanted to ask you the same thing. What are you doing here? Sima Yuyang retorted. Oh, I just touched the groove and the white light brought me here. Sima Yue said. You have the bloodline of the Sima family in you? Sima Yuqing said with surprise. Sima Yue scratched her head and said, No way? Grandpa said that I was sent to him by my father. How can I have the blood of the Sima family? Then how did you get in? Sima Yuqing didn't believe it, saying, That can only be opened by the bloodline of the Sima family. Maybe it's broken. How can a stone tell if it is or isn't? Sima Yuyu could only explain it this way. In the past, there were people with other surnames who came in, but they were unable to enter the 3 mountains. Sima Yulin said, implying that it was not because of the stones. Sima Yuyang looked at Sima Yuyu, saying, Could it be that you're really a member of our Sima family? Grandpa won't lie to me. My master also said that my parents are not from this continent. Sima Yue said with certainty. Not someone from the Sima family. Sima Yulin mulled over these words. He suddenly remembered that when he was looking at the genealogy, he had heard Sima Lin say that the Sima family seemed to be from the upper realms as well. He looked at Sima Yue and asked, "Is that really the case?" "What do you mean?" Sima Yue asked, "Maybe you're from the Sima family from the upper realms, and our ancestors came down from the upper realms as well. That's why your bloodline was recognized by the divine stone." Sima Yulin said his guess. It can't be that coincidental, right? Sima Yue looked at Sima Yulin in confusion. Could it be that her father's surname was also Sima? "We came from the upper realms." Sima Yuyang said faintly, "Maybe it's really the case. No matter whether it is or not, since Yu has come in, let's choose a door." Sima Yulan said. "Choose a door?" Sima Yue looked at the cave and realized that this cave was the size of a football field and had many doors formed by white light. The white light blocked their vision and mental strength, making them unable to see clearly what was inside. Behind these doors are opportunities. In the past, there were divine beasts here, so very few people were able to come here. You choose a door and go in. You guys go in first. I'll have to think about which one to go in. Sima Yue said. Actually, she felt as if there was something here that was attracting something. However, there were too many people, so she couldn't probe further. Sima Yulin and the others had already chosen, so they nodded and each went into the tunnel they had chosen. Now that she was the only one left in the cave, she closed her eyes in front of each door and tried to sense it. After passing tens of doors, she finally decided on the door she wanted to go in. "I wonder what it's like inside. I'll know once I go in." As she spoke, she walked into the white light and her figure disappeared into the white light. Unexpectedly, there was nothing behind the door. There was only a long corridor. She walked along the tunnel and soon came to a stone room. There was a 5-colored turntable on the wall of the stone room and nothing else. Could this turntable be the inheritance? Sima Yue looked around and really didn't see anything suspicious. She came to the turntable and started to study it. What's the use of this turntable? She stretched out her hand and turned the turntable, but found that it didn't move at all. It's not moving. How troublesome. These 5 colors are the same as the 5 colors of the 5 spiritual energies. Could it be that I have to insert spiritual energy into it? Thinking of this possibility, she first inserted the fire attribute spiritual energy into the red part. The moment the spiritual energy entered the turntable, the red part lit up. It should be like this. Sima Yue then moved the other 4 spiritual energies and lit up the other parts as well. Clang dash, when all the colors were lit up, the 5-colored turntable started to spin. It spun 3 times clockwise and 3 times counterclockwise. After that, the turntable split into 2 and moved to the sides, revealing a hole in the wall. There was a box in the hole. So it's like this. The 5-colored turntable represents the 5 spiritual energies. This door can only allow one person to enter at a time, and this turntable requires 5 different spiritual energies to activate. That's why no one has ever obtained anything from here. I wonder what's inside. She stepped forward and took the box down. When she opened the box, a murderous aura rushed towards her. Swoosh! The moment she opened the box, she felt danger. She subconsciously moved her head to the left. The murderous aura brushed past her right cheek, and with a bang, it pierced a hole in the wall behind her. Sima Yue turned around and looked at the hole. She was glad that she dodged quickly. Otherwise, her neck would have been separated from her head. What exactly is this thing? It's been sealed here for thousands of years, yet it still has such a strong battle intent. She carefully opened the box and saw a broken sword hilt. The sword hilt was only 3 inches away from the hilt. It was a broken weapon, and that weapon was still releasing a strong murderous aura. There was a thin book under the weapon. That murderous aura just now was released by this broken sword? Whose weapon is this? Sima Yue reached out her hand to pick up the broken sword. When she held the hilt, she felt a bone-piercing cold. If it wasn't for the contract with me, You would be a pile of ashes by now. Emosha's voice sounded. His figure came out from the bracelet and floated beside the box. Chapter 254. Sima Yue was surprised to see Emosha come out. Ever since he successfully fused with the spirit pagoda, he rarely came out. Emosha, why did you come out? Emosha didn't answer her, only staring straight at the broken sword. Suddenly, his palm slowly solidified and sucked the broken sword into his hand. Be careful. Sima Yue swallowed her words before she could finish because she realized that the broken sword was very obedient in Emosha's hands. Even its killing intent was restrained. As Emosha looked at the broken sword, his face revealed a trace of tenderness, as if he was looking at his former lover. Is this broken sword yours? Sima Yue could not help but ask. Emosha still didn't respond to her. He only caressed the broken sword. His careful manner moved her. Could this be his weapon when he was alive? Sima Yue guessed. Afterwards, Emosha waved his hand towards the box, and the spirit technique inside was flung out. He then sucked the box over and placed the broken sword inside, saying, "Keep it well. Before you have the strength, it's best that you don't let anyone know about it." Sima Yue took the box and looked at Emosha, saying, "The call I felt from the outside wasn't actually calling me, but rather a connection between you and it, right? You're not stupid after all." Emosha's hand became transparent again as he said, "This is the weapon that I personally refined when I was alive. It was destroyed in that battle. I never thought that after so many years, I would be able to see it again." Sima Yue looked at the broken sword in the box. Even after so many years, this broken sword still had such a strong murderous aura. When it was complete, when it was not broken, what kind of terrifying weapon was it? Isn't this the land of the Sima family? You are a demon, why would your weapon be with them? Sima Yue was confused. I never said that I fell in the demon realm. Emosha said, maybe someone obtained it in that battle and then it ended up here. Emosha's voice was a little sad as he returned to the bracelet. Sima Yue handed the box over to Little Spirit and told it to keep it safe and not let anyone know about it. Then she picked up the book on the ground. Merge? What book is this? Sima Yue opened the book and skimmed through it. After reading the introduction, she was so happy that she almost kissed the book. There's actually such a good book. It's such a waste that it's been buried here for so many years. Sima Yue said with a smile, but if it weren't for this, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to get you. Fusion, as the title of the book, talked about how to let the master and his contracted beast merge into one, and then transfer the contracted beast's ability to the master. The method was simple. Sima Yue only spent 5 days to master it. She called Yaguang out and muttered a few words. Yaguang turned into a white light and attached to her body. Her arms turned into Yaguang's iron claws. She picked up a stone in the corner and patted it lightly. The stone immediately turned into a pile of powder. So powerful! Sima Yue took a deep breath. Yaguang's most powerful ability was his iron claws. Now that she had merged with him, she also had this ability. Touch! She said softly, and Yaguang separated from her body. This is really useful. Sima Yue looked at her hands with satisfaction. Then she called out Little Rock and told him to merge with her. Little Rock turned into a white light and attached to her body. This time, a pair of wings appeared on her back. She used her thoughts to control the wings and moved them. Suddenly, the dust in the stone room flew all over the sky. Wait for me to go out and see if I can fly. Sima Yue laughed as she merged with Little Rock. Fun. You, let's see what it's like when you merge with me. Little Roar saw her playing by herself and shouted, Merge. Little Roar and Sima Yue merged. He realized that she did not change much. She did not grow wings and her body did not become stronger. Little Roar, what's your specialty? Sima Yue asked. After a while, Little Roar's voice faintly sounded, eating. Does it count? Sima Yue's face was filled with black lines. She released the merge and hugged him in her arms. I knew you were useless. Every time you eat a lot of things. You still dare to ask me if it counts as a specialty? I'm killing a beast. Little Roar roared. However, no matter how much he roared, Sima Yue ignored him. She only stopped when she messed up his white fur. Master, I think you and Little Roar are not completely useless. Thousand Resonance waited for Sima Yue to finish teaching Little Roar a lesson before he spoke. But there's no change in my body. Sima Yue said. Little Roar can ignore all enchantments. I think Master should be able to obtain this ability after merging with him. Thousand Resonance said. Sima Yue thought for a while. It seemed that this ability was indeed more outstanding. Alright, let's go out now. Let's see what's behind the other doors. Sima Yue kept her contracted beasts into the spirit pagoda and left the stone room. However, when she was outside, Sima Yue realized that there was a limit to these doors. One person could only enter one door. She had already entered one, so she could not enter the other doors. I wonder how to get out of here. She looked around the cave and did not see any way out. She could only sit down and wait for Sima Yue and the others. She waited for 20 days. Thinking about how she obtained it in 5 to 6 days, she wondered what the 4 of them obtained. The first to come out was Sima Yue. When she saw Sima Yue sitting outside, she asked, Yue, you didn't go in? I went in, but I came out long ago. I was waiting for you. However, none of you came out. I'm going to rot from waiting. Sima Yue glanced at Sima Yue. Her eyes were filled with resentment. You've waited for a long time? Sima Yue nodded and counted with her fingers. It's been 20 days. Sigh, did you all obtain a very good inheritance? It actually took so long. That's not true. Sima Yue said, I spent 10 days to pass the test. The real time to receive the inheritance was only half a month. How did you come out so quickly? Sima Yue blinked and asked suspiciously, there was a test? You didn't? Sima Yue looked at her suspiciously. Sima Yue shook her head, saying, I went in and only saw a long tunnel. There was nothing. The tunnel was also very calm. There were no traps or anything. Then you obtained the inheritance? You can say so. Sima Yue said. Heavens, your luck is so good. You actually didn't take the test. Sima Yue looked up at the sky. This guy was so strong, but she didn't expect his luck to be so good as well. They had to overcome obstacles to receive the inheritance, but this guy was good. He went in directly and got it done. She really wanted to rub some of his luck. Chapter 255. After waiting for another 2 days, Sima Yu Yang and Sima Yu Lan came out one after another. It was only on the last day that Sima Yu Lin came out. Yu Lin, the 3 of them don't know how to get out. Do you know? Sima Yue sat on the ground and ate her roasted chicken, not caring about her image at all. Beside her was a pile of leftover bones. Sima Yu Yang and the others each had a roasted chicken to nibble on. That golden roasted chicken looked exceptionally tempting. Sima Yu Lin walked over and snatched the roasted chicken from Sima Yu Yang's hands. He tore off a piece and placed it in his mouth. After swallowing it, he said, There's no way out here. No way out? Then how do we get out? When the time comes, it will naturally throw us out. Throw? All right, then we can only wait. Sima Yue sighed helplessly. Her strength was increasing too quickly, so she needed to go to the back of the mountain to find some spirit beasts to train with. Otherwise, her strength would be too weak, which would not be good for her cultivation in the future. Sima Yu Yang looked at Sima Yu Lin resentfully, saying, My roasted chicken, you've been out for so long. You've already eaten a bunch of chicken bones. Eat less to maintain your figure. Sima Yu Lin said, You. Sima Yu Yang turned his gaze towards Sima Yu Yu, wanting her to roast another one for him. Sima Yue threw a chicken to him and said, Roast it yourself. Sima Yu Yang picked up the chicken, and just as he was about to look into its eyes, a white light enveloped them, and the few of them disappeared from the cave. In the valley, Sima Tai, Sima Lin and a group of elders were anxiously waiting. Suddenly, a white light flashed and a group of people were spat out by the white light. It's crushing me to death. Who is sitting on my head? In the valley, everyone was thrown into a pile. If they weren't spirit masters, they would have all been crushed to death. The great elder looked around and said in surprise, "Not a single disciple has fallen this year." It really is. The second elder also scanned the area. Not only did they not fall, most of them even increased by 2 to 3 levels. Sima Lin said, "It's so easy this year?" Sima Tai and Sima Lin looked at each other. This year's situation was a little abnormal. F***ck, it was indeed thrown out. Sima Yue cursed. "Yue, you're sitting on my face." The people below wanted to scold the person sitting in front of them, but when they heard Sima Yue's voice, they changed their minds. Sima Yu stood up and saw that she was sitting on one side of that person's face, while the other side was already buried in the ground. "Ahem, I'm sorry," Sima Yue said apologetically as she pulled him up. "It's nothing." "All right, get up and stand properly," the great elder said loudly. Those people hurriedly stood up and obediently stood there. "Didn't you encounter any danger when you entered?" Seeing that no one was injured, the third elder couldn't help but ask. "No." Everyone replied in unison. "There are quite a few divine beasts inside. Didn't you guys encounter them?" "I've met him." "Then why did you say that you didn't encounter any danger?" The third elder blew his beard. "There really wasn't any danger. Those divine beasts were all subdued by us. Not a single one of us was injured." Someone replied. "Subdued by you?" "That's right, we brought them all out. There's not a single divine beast inside." Sima Yang said. Sima Tai raised his eyebrows. "You brought all the divine beasts out?" "Yes, Grandpa." "Brothers, let's show them what you've done." Sima Yu Yang roared, and those who had divine beasts all showed their divine beasts out. So many divine beasts! Those elders were shocked by the densely packed divine beasts. "How did you form contracts with these divine beasts?" The second elder asked. "Everyone caught them together, then you tamed them for us to form contracts with." The disciple replied. Good. Sima Tai said, "Good," 3 times in a row. His happiness was evident in his words. "Initially, we thought that it would be the last time we would open the clan grounds because there were too many divine beasts. Who would have thought that you would actually be able to get rid of this hidden danger? Not bad. Clan leader, since the disciples have already returned, you can ask anything you want when we return." Sima Lin said. "That's fine too." The teleportation array had been prepared long ago, and they quickly returned to the main courtyard. When they returned, Sima Yu found Sima Yu Ming and the others, and walked over to stand with them. "Brother, your strength has increased by another rank?" She furrowed her eyebrows, saying, "Your strength has increased too quickly recently. We feel the same way, so we plan to wait a few days before going out to train for a few months." Sima Yu Ming said, "I'm guessing that they will go to the mountains to catch divine beasts soon. When the time comes, you guys will go with them and fight well to strengthen your strength." Sima Yu said, "That's not bad. If you go out alone, you might meet with danger. It's best to go with the clan members." Sima Yu Ran said, "Fifth bro, what about you?" Sima Yu Lu asked. "I'm not going. I'll just look for spirit beasts at the back of the mountain." Sima Yu shook her head. She had lived in the mountains for 2 years, and did not want to experience life in the mountains again. While they were talking, Sima Tai had already finished speaking and let everyone go back first. However, Sima Yu, Sima Yu Lin and the others stayed behind. Sima Yu followed behind them to the hall, and found a seat at the back to sit down. "Yu Lin, is what you said true?" Sima Tai asked. Sima Yu Lin said, "Yu does indeed have the bloodline of the Sima family." You went behind that door?" Sima Lin asked. "That's right." Sima Yu said, "Is the stone outside the mountain unreliable?" "That stone is definitely reliable. It's passed down from our ancestors." Sima Tai said, "So you're really a member of the Sima family." Sima Yu rolled her eyes at him, and leaned on the table, not saying a word. That old fox, if she continued his words, she would easily fall into his trap. "Yulan, the blood in your body is a little restless. Has the spirit beast blood in your body been activated?" Sima Tai asked. "Yes, clan leader." Sima Yulan said with a smile, This time, I just happened to choose a pool that activates my blood. After absorbing the essence inside, my blood has been activated by quite a bit. Sima Tai nodded, saying, originally, your cultivation talent was rather good. Now that your blood has been activated and you have cultivated well, you will definitely go far in the future. Yes, clan leader. Sima Yulan replied. Sima Tai asked the few of them about the opportunities that they had obtained, and then asked Sima Yu what she had obtained. Sima Yu took out the fusion technique unhappily and muttered, what they obtained was to increase their own strength. Only what I obtained was for everyone to learn. Sigh, what a loss, what a huge loss. Chapter 256. Hearing Sima Yu's nagging, Sima Yu Qing and the others lowered their heads and could not help but laugh. Sima Tai, on the other hand, was so shocked that he was speechless. How is it? Do you feel like you've picked up a huge bargain? Sima Yu looked at Sima Tai's expression and snorted, you have to compensate me. Sima Tai answered quickly this time. Patriarch this is? Sima Lin saw how straightforward Sima Tai was, and was curious about the spirit technique in his hands. Do you remember one of our family records? It mentioned that our ancestor had a skill that allowed him to add the abilities of his contracted beast to himself? Sima Tai asked. Could it be this? Sima Lin's face was filled with unconcealable shock. If that was the case, the Sima family would really have to thank Sima Yue. I think your ancestors didn't want you to learn this skill, Sima Yue said. Why? That's because it's almost impossible to obtain this spiritual technique. I just happened to fulfill the requirements and obtained it, Sima Yue said. If the ancestors really wanted their descendants to learn it, they wouldn't have left it there. Yu, didn't you say that you didn't pass the test? Sima Yuqing said. That's right. There was no test in front, but the place where it was stored was blocked by a hard turntable. If you can't open the turntable, you can't get it. Sima Yue said. Then how harsh are the conditions to open the wheel? Sima Yuyang asked. In any case, none of you will be able to open it. It's not that it's difficult, it's just that you don't have what it takes, Sima Yue said. What conditions? Even brother Yulin can't do it? Sima Yulan asked. Sima Yulin also looked at Sima Yu, his eyes filled with curiosity and doubt. Sima Yue sighed and said, that turntable has 5 colors, and each color requires a corresponding amount of spiritual energy. That place only allows one person to enter at a time. If this isn't to prevent ordinary people from entering, then what is it? You're a spirit master of all faculties? Sima Yu Yang exclaimed when he heard what Sima Yu said. I didn't say that. Sima Yue said, let's not talk about this. Master, you said that you were willing to compensate me. Sima Tai was also surprised when he found out that she was a complete spirit master and said, yes, what kind of compensation do you want? Since I gave you something good, I naturally have to compensate you with something good. Sima Yue chuckled and said, I heard that there are many spiritual techniques in our residence's library, but you can't just go in and out. You are allowed to enter freely. Sima Tai said, I'm not asking for this. Sima Yue waved her hand and said, my 4 brothers have been locked up by you guys for 3 years and have not learned any good spiritual techniques. Let them go in and choose a spiritual technique. Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect that her request was to fight for an opportunity for her brother to study. She had really done her best for her brothers. They are members of the clan, so they can naturally enter the library to choose spiritual techniques. Sima Tai said, speaking of spiritual techniques, do you still have the Raging Inferno Cleave? No, I returned it to grandfather when I came back. Sima Yue said. Since we've already agreed, I'll head back first. Oh right, I don't like to hear others talk about me. I get angry when I hear it. After saying that, she bowed to the people above and left. This guy, he actually dares to threaten me. Sima Tai said angrily, but everyone could see that there was no anger in his eyes. Yu usually likes to keep a low profile. If we tell others about him, he might really get angry. Sima Yuqing said. He's strong, but not arrogant. He's mature and steady. He'll definitely become someone great in the future. Eldest elder sighed. If other powers know that our clan has produced a genius like him, they'll definitely kill him. Second elder said. No one is allowed to spread what we've said here today. Also, the clan members must keep you use other abilities a secret. Otherwise, you'll be punished according to the clan rules. Sima Tai said. Yes, clan leader. Just like that, Sima Yue created a huge wave in the Sima residence. However, not a single ripple flew out. The outside world didn't receive any news at all. Seeing this result, Sima Yue was very satisfied. Although the clan members knew that she could tame divine beasts, nobody said it out loud. What they said that day in the Great Hall didn't leak out either. That was why, apart from Sima Yulin and a few others, the Sima family members didn't know that she was an all-round genius. Boom dash, she fought with a male lion. The other party had just become a divine beast, but they were still evenly matched. Of course, this was under the condition that she didn't even use her trump card. Aya, I don't want to fight anymore, I don't want to fight anymore. The male lion cried out as his fur was burnt by Sima Yue's flames. Big lion, we haven't fought for long today. How can you back out? Sima Yue jumped onto the lion's back and pulled on his ear. You're getting stronger and stronger. My fur has been burnt by you many times. Big lion said. Didn't I give you a pill to recover? Sima Yue said, who else can have such treatment? Even so, I don't want to. Big lion decided not to fight with her today. No, I haven't found a better sparring partner. You have to fight with me. Sima Yue acted shamelessly. My little ancestor, please spare me. Big lion begged. There are so many spirit beasts in this mountain. Why did you choose me? What can I do? Sima Yue patted Big Lion's head and said, in this mountain, if it's not that the city is too low, then it's that their abilities are too high. If I want to train my battle abilities, I will definitely use someone like you as a sparring partner. Big Lion laid on the ground and said, I don't care, I don't care. I don't want to fight with you anymore. You dash, Sima Yue was speechless. This lion was really cowardly. It had already been half a month since they returned from the clan grounds. In this half a month, she had been running into the mountain every day to find spirit beasts to fight and strengthen her abilities. Previously, she was still suppressing the feedback she received. She was prepared to advance in another 2 days. However, she didn't expect that at this time, her sparring partner, Big Lion, wouldn't do it. Since it's not willing, why don't we have a spar today? Sima Lin appeared and said to Sima Yue. Sima Yue looked towards the mountain top and saw Sima Lin looking at her. Grandpa Lin. 3 years ago, we had a spar of mental strength. Why don't we do it again today? Sima Lin flew down and looked at Sima Yue as he said. Sure. Sima Yue agreed readily. After returning to the clan, she had always wanted to find Sima Lin to spar again. 3 years ago, she was completely suppressed by him. She really wanted to know if 3 years later, she would still be unable to take 3 moves from him like before. Chapter 257. Then take it. Sima Lin said as he sent his mental power to attack Sima Yue. Sima Yue immediately focused on defending herself. She did not dare to underestimate the mental strength of an accomplished array master. Both of their spiritual powers were almost solid. When they met in the air, there was a solid sound. In the beginning, Sima Lin did not use much strength because today, he did not need to beat her until she could not walk like 3 years ago. However, he soon realized that Sima Yue's spiritual power had grown several times over the past 3 years. She could easily block his attack. One had to know that the spiritual power he was releasing now was the same as the spiritual power he used to defeat her 3 years ago. Again! Sima Lin's second attack had doubled in strength. However, Sima Yue was still able to receive it with ease. Sima Lin's third attack was not only received by Sima Yue, she even fiercely used her strength to reorganize his mental power. Grandpa Lin, how is it? Sima Yue asked with a smile. When she first met him 3 years ago, she had only been practicing the soul-refining art for a short period of time, but she was already able to receive his attacks. Now that 3 years had passed, she had been practicing the soul-refining art every day, and her mental strength was no longer the same as before. Sima Lin nodded and flew down from the top of the mountain, saying, "I didn't expect your spiritual energy to be so powerful. I heard that you are also an array master?" Sima Yu knew that Sima Yu Lin must have told him. However, she didn't try to hide it and nodded in agreement. She had always wanted to ask him for pointers on her array formation. Now that he had asked, she could take the opportunity to ask him for advice. "What level has your comprehension of space reached?" Sima Lin asked. "I can already control the space of half of my body," Sima Yue replied. Sima Lin revealed a look of surprise. She was still so young, yet she could already control space. Good. Although the clan has produced 2 array masters, their talent is far inferior to yours. Sima Lin excitedly said, "I will tell you everything I know. In the future, your achievements will definitely be much higher than mine." "Thank you, Grandpa Lin." Sima Yue cupped her fists and bowed. Let's go to the pavilion at the top of the mountain." Sima Yue happily followed Sima Lin. In the following days, Sima Yue lived a simple and peaceful life. When she had time, she would discuss with Sima Lin about array formations. Sima Lin liked her very much and taught her everything he knew, allowing her to improve greatly in array formations. Other than learning array formations, she would also fight with him from time to time, constantly improving through the battles. The Scarlet Queen Bee had already given birth to quite a number of scarlet bees, and she was collecting honey in the spirit pagoda. Every month she would send a bottle of honey to the old fox. The old fox would distribute the honey to the disciples of the family to help them increase their strength. Aside from Sima Yu Lin, the others who obtained the honey had no idea where it came from. Of course, towards the end, the Scarlet Queen Bee would give birth to even more scarlet bees, and would produce even more honey. Sima Yue kept all the honey, and appropriately increased the amount she gave to the Sima family, leaving the rest for future use. Wei Ziqi and the others had been cultivating in the spirit pagoda for more than a year, and they did not know when they would advance in rank. That was why Sima Yue would run to the mountains every few days, going to a secluded place to pick them up and advance in rank. In this 1 year, the few of them had all advanced to the rank of Spirit Overlord, and Bei Gongtang had already advanced to the rank of Spirit Saint. When there were still 3 months before the gathering, Sima Yue received a piece of news, and hurriedly called the few of them out of seclusion. "What's wrong, Yue?" Fatty Chu came out and asked. This was the first time she had interrupted their cultivation, so something big must have happened. Sima Yue looked at Ouyang Fei and said, "There's news from the South Yu Kingdom, saying that the South Yu Emperor and the others know that you're still alive, and have even left the Dongqin Kingdom. They've spread the news, saying that they will execute your mother and her clansmen in half a month's time." Ouyang Fei immediately flew into a rage, and smashed the stone table with a palm, shouting, "Ouyang Dong dares! He has just ascended the throne, and knows that Ouyang Fei is still alive. He will definitely think of a way to get rid of you." Bei Gongtang said, "Right, when your father was still alive, he did not dare to make a move against your mother and her clansmen, and could only secretly plot against you. Now that he has ascended the throne, he will naturally eliminate these hidden dangers." Wei Ziqi analyzed. "If those old people in the court know that you're still alive, they will definitely overthrow him and make you the emperor. Ouyang Dong is afraid that this will happen." Fatty Chu had matured a lot in these 2 years. Sima Yue looked at him and asked, "What do you plan to do?" Ouyang Fei clenched his fists and said, "What else can I do? He knows that my clansmen are my weakness. He knows that I will definitely return once I receive the news, and I'm afraid that he has already set up a killing array for me to return. However, even if that's the case, I still have to return." Sima Yue patted his shoulder and said, "What are you afraid of? Our current strength is not low either. When we go to South Yu, we'll turn everything upside down. Right, let's go and challenge his throne, and directly settle the grudges from a few years ago." Wei Ziqi said. "You guys?" Ouyang Fei wanted to tell them not to go, but he could not say it out loud. With his understanding of them, he knew that even if he said it, it would be useless. Since time is tight, I'll go and inform grandfather and the others and then we'll move. Sima Yue said. Before we reach South Yu's capital, Ouyang Fei, stay here first. Don't show your face. Wei Ziqi said. Right, that South Yu Emperor will definitely guess that you will return. Who knows, he might set up an ambush or something along the way. We can't waste time on the road. Sima Yue said. All right. Then we'll have to trouble you, Yi. Ouyang Fei nodded. Look at what you're saying. Sima Yue glared at him, saying, I'll go and bring grandfather and the others out. She came to another house and told Sima Lai and the others about the situation, and brought them out. Fifth bro, why don't you let us go with you? Sima Yulu said. In this 1 year, they had risen quite a few ranks in the Spirit Pagoda. When they heard that she was going to South Yu, they naturally wanted to go with her. You guys stay at home. When the time comes, we'll go and participate in the gathering. You guys are the trump card of the Sima family. You can't expose yourselves in advance. Sima Yue said, when the time comes, I'll meet you guys at the gathering. All right. Then you have to be careful. Sima Yuran said. I will. Sima Yue nodded. I'll go and inform the clan leader. As she spoke, she took out a bottle of honey and handed it to Sima Yuming, saying, this is for you guys for the next 3 months. Sima Yuming naturally knew that this was scarlet honey. He had been drinking this for the past year. He took it and said, you have to be careful. Bring Chongming along. I'll be careful. Sima Yue replied, then sighed, saying, that guy Chongming has gone to take care of his wife. I don't know if he has the time to go with us. Chapter 258. Sima Yuming and the others were speechless. Chongming clearly went to take care of the egg left by his friend, but she said that he was taking care of his wife. If he heard this, who knew how he would react? All right, Grandpa brothers, I'm leaving. Sima Yue waved at them and left the courtyard. She went to the main courtyard. Sima Tai happened to be free. You're leaving? Sima Tai asked without waiting for her to speak. Sima Yue blinked and asked, how did you know? Sima Tai smiled. The child with you should be the former crown prince of the South Yu Kingdom. Now that news has spread from the South Yu Kingdom, you would naturally run over to watch the show. Sima Yue did not expect Sima Tai to know about this and said, an old fox is an old fox, nothing can be hidden from you. Since you already know, I don't need to say anything more. Pay attention to your safety and attend the meeting on time. Sima Tai said. I know. Sima Yue said, I'm going to look for the same person. Sima Tai waved his hand. After Sima Yue came out, she went to a mountain outside of Anyang City and came to a cave. She called Little Roar out and merged with him. Then she swaggered into the cave. Tong Ming, who was in the cave, felt someone enter. He opened his eyes and looked outside, then closed them again. On a stone platform in front of him, an egg covered in veins lay quietly. If you look closely, you will see that there are circles of golden red lines in those lines. Sima Yue came in with a spiritual fruit in her mouth. When she saw Tong Ming, she said, Tong Ming, I'm here to see your wife. Chong Ming didn't even bother to open his eyes and ignored her. Ever since she found out that there was a female bird in the egg, she had been calling him wife. Now he was immune to it. Sima Yue held the spirit fruit in her mouth and walked around the egg twice. Then she took out 2 herbs and a small half of the golden snake fruit. She created a flame and threw the herbs into the fire to refine them. Now, she could directly use fire to refine the ingredients, so she didn't need to use a pill furnace every time. After refining it, she retracted the flame, and the essence landed on the egg. Soon it was all sucked in. Tong Ming had already opened his eyes when she was refining the herbs. When he saw her holding the spirit fruit in her mouth and refining the rare herbs, the corner of his mouth twitched. Sima Yue took a bite of the spiritual fruit and said, Chongming, your wife has eaten a lot of good things from me in the past year. When will she break out of her shell? I came out when I was supposed to. Chongming said, what are you doing here today? I need to talk to you about something, Sima Yue said. She told him about Ouyang Fei's situation and then said that she wanted to invite him to go with her to South Yu Kingdom. That would be safer. After hearing this, Chongming was silent for a while and said, "We'll leave the day after tomorrow." But Sima Yue asked. Her eyes widened as she stared at the egg. "Don't tell me that your wife is about to be born?" Chongming glanced at her and closed his eyes, ignoring her. Sima Yue did not care either. She released her fusion with Little Roar and stared at the egg with Little Roar. "Yu, maybe if you give it something to eat it will come out," Little Roar said. "But it just absorbed a lot of good things." Sima Yue said. "Why don't you give it some honey to drink?" Little Roar said. "That's fine. Anyway, it can be reborn." Sima Yue nodded and took out a bottle of honey. She mixed it with water and poured it on the egg bit by bit. Chongming let them do it. Anyway, what they did was good for the egg. However, he did not think that they would be able to make the bird come out earlier. Half a day later, he suddenly heard a kacha sound. It was very soft, but it did not escape his ears. "Aya, it's coming out, it's coming out." Sima Yue hugged Little Roar and shouted in front of the egg. "It's really coming out. Do you think it will recognize us when it comes out?" Little Roar said. "Probably." Sima Yue said uncertainly, "Isn't there a saying that it has a baby bird complex?" "Oh, maybe it will really recognize us." Little Roar said. Kacha dash. The crack on the egg became bigger. Even Chongming came over. The three of them stared at the egg closely. Kacha dash. After the crack on the egg, the speed of cracking increased. Very quickly, a bird's head could be seen squeezing out from the crack. It looked at Sima Yue and Chongming and said a sentence that shocked the two of them. It said, "Daddy, Mommy." Ha dash. Little Roar hugged his stomach and laughed loudly. He pointed at Sima Yue and said, You're a mother." Ha. Sima Yue pinched Little Roar with both hands to prevent him from laughing at her. "Mommy? Mommy?" Little Chick looked at Sima Yue suspiciously. Then, it quickly learned this word and looked at Sima Yue and said, "Mommy, Mommy." Sima Yue's face darkened and said, "I'm not your mommy. I'm not a big bird." However, Little Chick did not care. It placed its head on the eggshell and looked at Sima Yue with its round eyes while calling for its mommy. Little Roar laughed uncontrollably. He pointed at Chongming and asked, "Who is this?" "Daddy." Little Chick replied. "Is this the rhythm of pairing the two of you together?" Little Roar was already lying on the stone table laughing. Sima Yue stretched out her hand and poked Little Chick's head and said, "He's your husband. You're his wife. Do you know that?" Little Chick looked at Chongming suspiciously. It nodded and said, Hubby. "That's right." Sima Yue laughed. However, she was shocked by Little Chick's words. "Hubby, mommy." Haha. Little Roar laughed until he was out of breath. This Little Chick was really too cute. At this moment, even Chongming could not remain calm. He was the husband and she was the mother. Wouldn't that make her his mother-in-law? "Kaihong, I'm your uncle. I'm your father's friend." He stretched out his hand and touched Little Chick's forehead, helping her accept the inheritance in her mind. Little Chick's gaze turned from confusion to clarity. From the inheritance, she knew her own species and understood the differences between the species. "Uncle, thank you for saving me." It looked at Chongming with gratitude. Then, it looked at Sima Yue and called out, "Mommy." "I'm not your mommy. Don't you know that already?" Sima Yue said. "But I like you. When I was in the egg, I remembered your taste. You always give me good food to eat." Little Chick said. "You can call me Big Sister." Sima Yue said. Then she said, "No, if you call Chongming uncle and call me Big Sister, wouldn't he be one generation above me? You can call him Big Brother." Chongming's face was full of black lines. He said coldly, "I'm from the same generation as her father. I'm more than 1,000 years older than you." "Old monster." Sima Yue complained softly. In the end, Kaihong, who was also Little Chick, decided to call them Big Sister and Uncle. Sima Yue looked at Kaihong eating her own eggshell. She suddenly thought of something. Don't spirit beasts have to become holy beasts to speak? It was born a holy beast. Chapter 259. Kaihong has the bloodline of the phoenix in her body. Her bloodline was originally not bad. Although she was injured later on, she ate your golden snake fruit. In this year, you have also fed her with medicinal herbs from time to time. It is not strange that she was born a holy beast. Chongming explained. Rainbow quickly finished the eggshell. When it was the last piece, it hesitated for a moment. It looked at the eggshell, then looked at Sima Yue. Then, it took the eggshell and said, "Sister, this is for you." Sima Yue knew that the eggshell of birds had many uses, but she also knew that it was very important to them. They could gain a lot of power from it. Now that it wanted to give her the last part of the eggshell, she was very surprised and happy. She reached out and patted its head, saying, "This is something your parents left for you. Eating it can increase your strength. Eat it all." "But I want to give it to you," Rainbow said. "She's more useful to you. You can give me more good stuff in the future," Sima Yue said with a smile. Rainbow thought for a moment and said, "All right." Then, it ate all the eggshells with crunching sounds. "All right, can we go to South Yu Kingdom now?" Sima Yue asked. Chongming nodded. They were originally waiting for the rainbow to come out, and now that it had come out, he was naturally willing to follow her to the South Yu Kingdom. They first went to Linchuan City, and from there, they took a transfer array to the South Yu Kingdom's capital, Eternal Peace City. When they arrived at Halcyon City, they were interrogated at the Soul Master Guild. Sima Yue even sensed the aura of many experts. It seems that the Emperor of South Yu is very afraid of Ouyang, Bei Gongtang said as she supported Sima Yue. "That's not true," Sima Yue said. "Ouyang's appearance will shake his position in the South Yu Kingdom. He will definitely think of a way to kill him." Chongming stood to the side with rainbow mimicry standing on his shoulder. "Sister is so pitiful." The feathers on Rainbow's body were colorful, attracting many people to watch. "Who built this teleportation portal? It's such an inferior product," Sima Yue complained. "All right, if you're not feeling well, you should speak less," Wei Ziqi said. "Let's find a place to stay first, then we can gather some information." They found a nearby inn to stay. Sima Yue called Ouyang Fei out and asked, "Do you have anyone you can rely on?" "Yes, but I don't know how he is now," Ouyang Fei said, "and I don't know if they are still the same as before." "Let's go and take a look," Sima Yue said. "If he's reliable, let him come over and tell you about the situation here. We still have a few days to make arrangements." I'll give you the address," Ouyang Fei said. Ouyang Fei gave them an address, and Fatty Chu and Wei Ziqi went to gather information. Sima Yue took the opportunity to sleep for a while. When she woke up, she was still feeling unwell. In order not to delay things, she entered the spirit pagoda. When Wei Ziqi and Fatty Chu returned, Sima Yue had already rested. The few of them were nestled in her room to talk about the results of the day. "We went to 2 places today and found out that one of the people you mentioned had already sided with the South Yu Emperor. The other one did not give face to the South Yu Emperor and is having a hard time now." "How are my grandfather and the others doing now?" Ouyang Fei asked. Wei Ziqi shook his head and said, "We can't see the situation over there. Right now, many soldiers have isolated that area. Most people are not allowed to go near it. If you ask me, we should call that person over tonight and get him to tell us about the situation in the imperial capital," Fatty Chu said. "That's fine too," Sima Yue agreed. "If we go around asking about the situation here, we will definitely attract the attention of the imperial family. Why don't we just find someone to ask?" "All right. Then let's go find him and ask him," Ouyang Fei said. After that, he looked at Wei Ziqi and the others and said, "I'll have to trouble you guys this time. Be careful." "We will." Wei Ziqi finished speaking and left with Fatty Chu. Deep into the night, no one was resting. When the waiter downstairs was about to fall asleep, Wei Ziqi and the others brought someone back. The person's entire body was covered in a cloak, and the wide cloak made it impossible for anyone to see his identity. Wei Ziqi knocked on the door and brought the person in. "Your Highness." When the person saw Ouyang Fei in the room, he took off his cloak and rushed over, kneeling in front of him. "Uncle Gue, get up first." Ouyang Fei helped him up. "Your Highness, you're finally back." Uncle Gue stood up with the help of his strength and said, I knew that you were definitely still alive and have been waiting for you to come back. Have you been well all these years? I've been well. Ouyang Fei said, Uncle Gure, where are my mother and grandfather now? What's the situation like? Your Highness, don't be anxious. They are currently not in danger. Uncle Gue comforted him. Ouyang Dong wants you to come back so he will naturally let them live. It's just that their current situation is not very good. Where are they now? They are all locked up in the Imperial Palace's prison. Uncle Gure said, after Ouyang Dong ascended the throne, he has always been good to the Imperial concubine. However, a few days ago, he suddenly said that the Imperial concubine was seriously ill and wanted Sang Darren and the others to enter the palace to visit her. Who would have thought that after entering, they would all be arrested and said that they were plotting a rebellion and that they would be beheaded. When Ouyang Fei heard Uncle Gure's words, his face turned green and he said hatefully, 6 years ago, he was the one who secretly made a move against me. When I was out, he sent people to kill me, forcing me to hide in the Sophia mountain range. Recently, I went to Dongqing Kingdom. Now, he even wants to touch my mother and grandfather. 6 years ago, it was really him who sent people to kill you? Uncle Gue asked as he wiped his tears. The people who tried to kill me were all from the Li family. Imperial concubine Li has always wanted to get rid of me, so it is normal for her family to do this. Ouyang Fei said, ever since you went missing, the previous emperor no longer cared about the Sang family. The Sang family was declining day by day, while the Li family was like the sun in the sky, becoming more and more powerful. Uncle Gue said, these years, they have become much stronger, becoming the main force supporting Ouyang Dong's ascension. No matter how much Ouyang Dong's strength increases, it will not increase by much. If he wants to ascend the throne, he naturally needs someone to protect him. And the Li family needs a puppet emperor to control the entire South Yu kingdom. Ouyang Fei clenched his fist. I originally wanted to let him live for 2 more years, but I never thought that he would be so anxious to seek death. Then I will grant him his wish. Your Highness, what do you plan to do? Uncle Gue asked. Didn't he want me to appear? Naturally, I will appear and pull him down from the throne, making him and the Li family cease to exist forever. Your Highness, you must not be rash. Uncle Gue said agitatedly, Ouyang Dong calculated that you would appear, so he set up this trap. If you really go out like this, you will definitely be killed by him. You only have a few people now, but he has an entire army and guards. Chapter 260. Uncle Gue, don't worry, I won't be impulsive. Ouyang Fei said, I'm no longer the child from back then. Since I'm here, I'll definitely save Mother and the others. Your Highness has grown up. Uncle Gue said as he wiped his tears. Tell us about the situation in the capital. Tell us who followed Ouyang Dong. Ouyang Fei said, since those people dared to betray me, then we'll eradicate them all. When Uncle Gue heard Ouyang Fei's words, he was first stunned, then overjoyed. He knew that Ouyang Fei would never boast so casually. Since he said so, he must have the strength to back it up. Throughout the night, Uncle Gue had been telling them about the current situation in the capital. He knew which powers were dependent on the Li clan, which were close to the Sang clan, which were neutral and could be won over. He knew all about how many spirit paragons and spirit emperors these powers had. Of course, in his words, these were all on the surface. He didn't know how many people were hiding. Wei Ziqi saw that he was very familiar with the matters of these powers and asked him why he knew so much about them. I've always believed that His Highness would come back, so I've been paying attention to what's going on in the capital. Uncle Gue said, although it seems like I haven't been doing well these years, I've actually been paying attention to these things. Uncle Gue, thank you for your hard work. Ouyang Fei said gratefully. Your Highness is exaggerating. From what Uncle Gue said, this Ouyang Dong's power is quite big. Sima Yue said. The people in the room rolled their eyes at her. Wasn't this nonsense? Which emperor was not powerful? Why are you all staring at me like that? Sima Yue said, I haven't finished speaking. Go ahead. Sima Yue snorted and continued, what I mean is, the other party is so powerful. With just the few of us, we might not be able to pull him down from his throne. We need to gather the forces here. But how can we get so many powers to unite in such a short period of time? Fatty Chu asked. Actually, if Sir Sang was here, he would be able to resolve this matter. Uncle Gue said, these powers normally listen to his orders. However, he is currently imprisoned in the Imperial Palace and cannot come out. Then we just have to rescue him. Fatty Chu said. That won't do. If Sir Sang comes out, Ouyang Dong will be alerted. When the time comes, there will definitely be complications. Uncle Gue said. Sima Yue thought for a while and said, what if we switch him out? That way, no one will find out and he can secretly contact those people. This idea is good, but there's no way to implement it. Right now, we have no way of finding someone like Senior Sang. Uncle Gue said. That's not necessarily true. Sima Yue summoned 1,000 resonance and fused with it. Then, 2 Ouyang Feis appeared in the house. Not only did they look the same, but they also had the same temperament. How is this possible? She looks exactly the same. Uncle Gue looked at Sima Yue and couldn't see any difference. Sima Yue and 1,000 resonance disintegrated and said, it's just a trick. I didn't turn into Ouyang's appearance. It's just that you guys saw us as him. Uncle Gue stared blankly and then understood, this is similar to an illusion? You can say that. Sima Yue said, I'll replace Sir Sang, how about that? Good. This way, no one will be able to tell that you're a fake. Uncle Gue said excitedly. Then I'll be in charge of pretending to be your grandfather and then rescue them on that day. We'll coordinate from the inside. Sima Yue said. Then we'll be in charge of the outside. Wei Ziqi said. Then it's settled. I'll leave Yaguang here and let it tell me the situation outside through the contract. Sima Yue said. Time is tight. I'll switch out Sir Sang tonight. Sima Yue said, Chongming, do you have a way to send me in? Chongming nodded. This small matter was nothing to him. I'll go with you. Otherwise, I'm afraid grandfather won't believe you. Ouyang Fei said. That's what I was thinking. Sima Yue said with a smile. Half an hour later, Sima Yue and Ouyang Fei arrived at the palace's prison and successfully met with the Sang family members. The Sang family's important figures were all here. 2 or 3 people were in one cell and there were about 7 or 8 of them locked up in more than 10 cells. When Ouyang Fei entered and saw the Sang family members locked up, his eyes immediately turned red. Grandfather, grandmother, uncle. He ran to Sang Luan's cell and shouted for the people inside. When they entered, everyone knew that someone had come. However, no one paid them any attention because they knew that it would be Ouyang Dong's men. When they heard Ouyang Fei's voice, they all thought that they were hallucinating and no one opened their eyes to look at him. Grandfather, grandmother. Ouyang Fei shouted again. This time, Sang Luan realized that it wasn't a hallucination and suddenly opened his eyes. Seeing Ouyang Fei outside the cell, he stood up and said, Fei, you're back? Yes, grandfather, I'm back. Ouyang Fei took out a key and opened the cell door. He lowered his head and walked in. Faker's back. It's really you. Ouyang Fei's grandmother stepped forward and grabbed Ouyang Fei's hand as tears streamed down her face. Grandmother, it's me. I'm back. Ouyang Fei held on to her. Grandmother, I'm sorry. I've made you all suffer and only return now. It's good that you're still alive. Grandmother wiped her tears. Ha! You're still alive. Ouyang Fei's uncle and aunt saw that he was still alive and were extremely happy. Uncle Aunt, wait a few more days. Once we finish setting things up outside, we'll bring you out. Ouyang Fei said. Sang Lun saw that Ouyang Fei had already grown up and said, that Ouyang Dong guessed that you were still alive and used us to lure you out. Why did you come to the capital? Grandfather, don't worry. Since I'm back, I've already made preparations. Ouyang Fei said that Ouyang Dong wants my life. I still want to settle the old score from a few years ago. From what I know, that Ouyang Dong has already made arrangements inside and outside the palace. Now that you've suddenly returned, how are you going to deal with his soldiers? Sang Lun said, I'll have to rely on grandfather for this. Ouyang Fei smiled and said, We've already discussed this with your uncle. We'll let you go out and secretly contact our forces. On that day, we'll pull Ouyang Dong down from the throne. Where can I go out? If I go out, I'm afraid that in less than a quarter of an hour, Ouyang Dong will guess that you're back. Sang Lun said. He won't. Ouyang Fei pulled Sima Yue and said, Grandfather, let me introduce you to two people. This is Yue and this is Chongming. Yue will stay here and pretend to be you. It'll be absolutely safe. Greetings to Grandfather Sang. Sima Yue smiled and bowed to him. Chapter 261. Fei, it's so dangerous. Why did you bring your friend here? Sang Lun said, You guys better leave quickly. If Ouyang Dong finds out, you won't be able to leave. Grandfather, don't worry. I'm here to take you out. Ouyang Fei said. Didn't I say I can't go out? Now that we know you're still alive, we're relieved. Sang Lun said. That's right. Fei, you should leave quickly. Ouyang Fei's grandmother also advised. Ouyang Fei looked at Sima Yue and said, Yue, sorry to trouble you. Sima Yue nodded and called 1,000 resonants out. The human and beast combined and another Sanglun appeared in front of everyone. This is? Everyone in the cell cried out in surprise. Grandfather, Yue will pretend to be you for the next few days. Ouyang Dong won't notice anything amiss. You need to take charge of the situation outside and unite all those forces. Ouyang Fei said, On the day of the execution, Yue will bring Grandma and Uncle out. Then we can work together from the inside. Sanglun was also quite shocked to see another version of himself. No matter if it was his appearance or aura, it was exactly the same as his. But won't you be in danger? He was still worried. Ouyang Fei smiled and said, With her here, the ones in danger will only be others. Sanglun couldn't help but think highly of Yue when he saw that his grandson had such a high opinion of her. He then nodded and said, If that's the case, I'll go with you. All right, Grandpa, let's go. Wait a minute. Sima Yue called out to them, Grandpa Sang, were your cultivations sealed by drugs? Sang Lun nodded. Can I check? All right. Sima Yue checked Sang Lun's pulse and said to Ouyang Fei, It's not a powerful poison. You can refine the antidote after you get out. You should have all the other herbs. These are the main ingredients. After saying that, she took out a few medicinal herbs that still had dirt on them and gave them to Ouyang Fei. Ouyang Fei knew what kind of pill he was going to refine with just one look at those herbs. He took the herbs and said, All right, I'll have to trouble you here. Don't worry. Sima Yue smiled. Elder sister, I'll stay with you. Rainbow said. Kaihong, wait for me outside with your husband. Otherwise, you will be bored here. Sima Yue smiled and patted Saihong's head. Chongming could not be bothered with Sima Yue. He grabbed Rainbow and walked out. Seeing this, Ouyang Fei quickly pulled Sanglun away and locked the cell door. Yue, I'm really sorry that you have to go to jail with us, Grandma said apologetically. Grandma, you're too polite. Sima Yue sat by the wall and said, I've known Ouyang for more than 6 years. He helped me before, so it's only right that I help him now. You and Fei have known each other for so long? Grandma asked in surprise. If that was the case, she must have known Ouyang Fei not long after he disappeared. Yes. Not only have we known each other for so long, but we've also lived together. Other than sleeping and cultivating, everyone is together. Sima Yue said. Everyone? Yes, the 5 of us. Sima Yue said. Yue, can you tell us about Fei's life these past few years? Grandma sat down. Sure. Sima Yue smiled and agreed. Then she told them everything that had happened since she met Ouyang Fei. Hearing that her grandson was so powerful and had suffered so much, the old woman was happy and heartbroken. Hearing about their friendship, Ouyang Fei's relatives were even more grateful to her. Thank you all for letting him grow up in such an environment. If he didn't meet you all, who knows what he would be like now? Grandma thanked them sincerely. Meeting him is our fortune. Sima Yue smiled and said, All right, I'm going to refine the antidote for you all now. You're also an alchemist? A young lady in her 20s asked. I know a little. Sima Yue said. She threw little Roar out and let him set up a barrier. Then, she took out a table of herbs and a pill furnace. Some of the herbs were the main ingredients for Ouyang Fei. Little Roar waved his claws and the entire prison was surrounded by a barrier. The sound of her refining would not be heard outside. Then, she began to refine the pills. She refined the herbs, fused them and condensed the pills. The pills were not high grade, but she was still serious. Although the Sang family also supported alchemists, they rarely saw alchemists refine pills. Seeing Sima Yue refine pills, everyone felt that it was very mysterious. Sima Yue continuously refined 4 batches of pills. Then, she kept the pill furnace and let little Roar remove the barrier. She took 1 pill and gave it to Grandma. Then, she passed it to little Roar and let him distribute it to everyone in the prison. Little Roar hugged the jade bottle and flew to the prison door. His round body was stuck between 2 iron bars. You, I'm stuck. Little Roar shouted. I saw it. Sima Yue said, who asked you to be so fat? It's time to lose weight. Why would I need to lose weight when I'm so handsome? Little Roar twisted his body in the middle of the iron bars and became even smaller. However, he still managed to pass through. He distributed the pills to everyone and then flew back to the prison. His body moved a little and returned to his normal size. Grandma, eat these pills and meditate to refine them. You should be able to recover your cultivation by tomorrow. Sima Yue said. Grandma took the pills and sighed. She said worriedly, we have the antidote now, but we don't know how you is doing. She was poisoned with us and is under house arrest alone. We don't know her situation. Aunt Yu was not locked up with you guys. This was out of our expectations. Before we came, we thought that she was with you guys. Sima Yue said, but this is not a problem. Let little Roar send the antidote over. But there is a barrier outside Yu's palace. If anyone goes in and activates the barrier, those guards will go. Grandma said. No problem. Those barriers have no effect on little Roar. Sima Yue said. Grandma, don't worry. Just leave it to me. Little Roar acted cute. Sima Yue passed the pills to little Roar and said, once you go there, don't come back. Stay there and protect Aunt Yu. Bring Aunt Yu to meet up with us on that day. All right. Little Roar was usually a little unreliable, but at this time he was more reliable. When you go, show this to her. She will believe you. Grandma took off the hairpin on her head and passed it to little Roar. Little Roar took the hairpin and hugged the jade bottle. His body moved and quickly became a white. He took the pills and the token and left. Chapter 262. Little Roar left the prison cell and followed the route his grandmother had told him to find Sang Muyu's palace. However, he got lost after walking for a short distance. I can't find the way. It used its contract to contact Sima Yue. Sima Yue did not expect little Roar to have a poor sense of direction and asked, where are you now? I don't know where we are. Little Roar said, I saw a very luxurious palace with many people. I saw that big bad guy. Big bad guy? Which bad guy? Sima Yue asked. It's that old fellow from the Nalan clan. The one we met the last time in Linchuan City. Little Roar said. He was talking to a young man wearing a yellow robe. Describe the place to me, Sima Yue said. Little Roar described the appearance of the palace and Sima Yue passed it on to Ouyang Fei's grandmother. His grandmother said with certainty, that is Ouyang Fei's bedroom. The one in yellow must be him. How did Ouyang Dong get together with the Nalan clan? Sima Yue asked suspiciously. Little Roar, go and listen to what they are saying. Alright you. Little Roar passed through the barrier and approached their house. Even though there were many experts here, no one noticed it. In Sima Yue's words, Sima Yue's fighting ability was not strong, but it was blessed in this aspect. As long as it wanted to, even Chongming might not be able to find its trace. Inside the house, Nalan Hong and Ouyang Dong were sitting opposite each other. The two of them were leisurely sipping tea. Your Majesty, what do you think? Nalan Hong asked. Ouyang Dong's expression was ugly as he said, "Is what you said true? Did the Sima family really send someone here?" "Of course." Nailan Hong said, "Ouyang Fei and the boy from the Sima family are very close. We got the news that the boy has left the Sima family for several days. There's no one in Ouyang Fei's courtyard either. Damn Ouyang Fei, how dare he gather the Sima family here?" Ouyang Dong scolded, "But even so, he's just a kid from the Sima family. What kind of waves can he cause in my Southview? If we cooperate with you because of this and even use a city in exchange, then my Southview kingdom is not some foolish fool." "You're wrong. That kid is not alone. Many people from the Sima family are missing. Can you say that they didn't follow her here?" Nailan Hong said, "Besides, our Nailan family will not only help you deal with the Sima family, but also help you deal with other people. Although you have the support of the Li family, there are still many people who support Ouyang Fei. They don't believe that Ouyang Fei is dead. If he appears, at least half of the people in the capital will rebel against you. Do you have that much power to deal with them?" Ouyang Dong was silent. This was also something he was worried about. Although he brazenly said that he wanted to lure Ouyang Fei out, but if he really did come out, he had to act immediately. Otherwise, if those people reacted and supported him, then he would be in trouble. Nailan Hong saw Ouyang Dong's expression and knew that he was worried about this matter. He continued, "There are definitely many people in the capital who are watching you. Your strength they all know. Although that Sang Luan has been locked up by you, the people who follow him will definitely rebel. They know your strength and our Nailan family can be your trump card." "What you said is only a possibility," Ouyang Dong said. "That's right, it is indeed a possibility. But what if this possibility happens?" Nailan Hong said, "If this possibility overthrows your rule, what do you plan to do? Besides, the city that we want is only a small city on the border between you and Central Wu Kingdom. To your large territory, it's just a drop in the ocean. Using a small city in exchange for your safety, this is a good deal." Ouyang Dong was silent for a while and said, "All right, I'll cooperate with you. Your Majesty is wise." Nailan Hong smiled and said, "We can now discuss the details, how many people we will send and so on." "All right." Little Roar told Sima Yu everything that he heard, including the details of their discussion and the specific plan. It was only after Nailan Hong left that he left the palace. After Sima Yu heard Little Roar's words, her heart was filled with doubt. A portion of the Sima family left the family? Where did they go? It couldn't be that they really came to find her, right? Maybe they just left because of something. She comforted herself. After that, she asked her grandmother to help guide Little Roar to Sang Muyu's palace. The luxurious palace was currently deserted. Only 2 or 3 servant girls were still in the palace. The others had all left. When Little Roar entered, he saw a middle-aged beauty leaning against the window in a daze. "Imperial concubine, you should rest early." A servant girl in a red dress walked over and said, "That's right. Imperial concubine, your cultivation has been sealed. Your body is no different from a normal person's. What if you fall sick?" Another servant girl walked up and said, "This servant girl should be a servant girl from the Sang family. She had a good relationship with Sang Muyu." She took a cloak and put it on her. Sang Muyu did not have any reaction. She only looked at the moon outside the window and said, "Ching ching, if there is no longer here, what does it matter if I'm well or not?" Imperial concubine, His Highness is definitely still alive. Ching Ching said with certainty, "If His Highness is no longer here, Ouyang Dong would not do these things. I've heard people say that because His Highness is still alive, he found out. That's why he used this method to lure him out. If Air is still alive, then he shouldn't come. This place is so dangerous. If he comes, he will fall right into Ouyang Dong's trap. That Ouyang Dong actually dared to do such a thing. He will definitely not have a good ending." The servant girl in the red dress said, "Imperial concubine, you should go back and rest." Ching Ching advised again. Sang Muyu shook her head, "I don't know how father and the others are doing. The day of execution is getting closer and closer, but they are still in prison. I, as their daughter, am unable to save them. Don't worry. Your father has already left the prison. A voice sounded out of nowhere, startling the 4 people in the room. Who? Ching Ching and the others hurriedly went forward, protecting Sang Muyu in the middle. Beauty, you're so beautiful. Little Roar's body slowly grew bigger in the air. Then, he threw himself into Sang Muyu's embrace. What is this thing? Another servant girl in a blue dress saw Little Roar suddenly appear and cried out in shock. Little Roar laid in Sang Muyu's embrace and stared straight at her. His eyes were almost filled with love. Sang Muyu quickly calmed down and said, "Who are you? Why did you come in?" Little Roar flung his bangs that he did not have and said proudly, "I am the handsome and elegant Little Roar. I am here to protect you, beauty." Chapter 263. When Sang Muyu heard Little Roar's narcissistic self-introduction, she laughed and said, "What a cute little fellow. Where did you come from?" "I came from the prison." Little Roar said. "Prison?" "Yes, my Yuyu asked me to deliver the antidote to the beauties. Your mother also asked me to take her hairpin as a token." Little Roar took out the hairpin and jade bottle, saying, "The poison in the Sang family has already been cured. You're the only one left." "Are you serious?" Sang Muyu couldn't believe her ears. Little Roar placed the hairpin in her hand and said, "Look, this is the hairpin your mother gave you. With my Yuyu here, you can rest assured." This is mother's hairpin. When Sang Muyu saw her mother's hairpin again, she couldn't help but cry. Little Roar hurriedly flew up and handed over a handkerchief with his furry paws, saying, "Beauty, don't cry. They're doing very well in prison. They're preparing to cooperate with Ouyang Fei and the others to drag Ouyang Dong down." Sang Muyu, who was wiping her tears, paused. She grabbed Little Roar and said, "What did you say? Is back?" "Io. Little Roar struggled twice and said, "Beauty, although I really like it when you hug me, you don't have to use so much strength." The 3 palace maids looked at Little Roar. No matter how they looked at it, they felt that Little Roar was teasing their mistress. When Sang Muyu heard Little Roar's words, she loosened her grip a little and said, "Sorry, I was too agitated. You said Fader is back?" "Yeah. He came back with my Yuyu." Little Roar said. "Beauty, you don't have to worry about him. He's fine and hasn't been caught. Moreover, he's now with your father, contacting people outside to prepare to attack the palace." "My father left the palace? Did Ouyang Dong not notice that he was missing? If they discover that Fader is back, what should we do?" Sang Muyu said anxiously. "That won't happen. Our Yuyu is in prison pretending to be your father." Little Roar comforted. "Little Roar, tell me the details of the situation." Sang Muyu tried her best to calm herself down as she spoke to Little Roar. "All right." Little Roar nodded his head and explained everything in detail. After that, he said, "So beautiful lady, you don't have to worry. They will arrange everything." After Sang Muyu heard this, she was slightly relieved. However, she was still a little worried and asked, "What if they are discovered?" "It's all right. Even if they fail, Chongming will protect them." Little Roar said. "Who's Chongming?" Ching Ching asked. "He is my Yuyu's bodyguard. He is a sacred beast." Little Roar said. "Super, sacred beast?" The 4 beauties were shocked and said, "Sacred beast is your master's bodyguard." "Yeah, that's right. Previously, I heard that a sacred beast had appeared in the Sophia mountain range. I never thought that it would actually become your master's bodyguard." Hearing Little Roar's words, Sang Muyu was no longer worried. "All right, you guys should quickly eat the antidote. Yuyu said that after eating it and meditating for a night, you should be able to recover your cultivation by tomorrow." Little Roar said. "Then what about you?" Sang Muyu asked. "Of course I will be your protector and protect you." Little Roar said, "My Yuyu said that I will be here to protect you guys." "Then I'll have to trouble you," the red-dressed palace maid said with a smile. "Imperial concubine, now that you know the situation outside, you can finally relax. Go and eat the antidote first. If anything happens later on, you should be able to protect yourself." Ching Ching said. "All right." Sang Muyu replied. After putting down the burden in her heart, Sang Muyu's entire spirit was much better. The gloominess on her face also disappeared. That night, Sang Muyu and the rest went to cure the poison. Little Roar laid on the table not far away and kept staring at her. His lecherous nature was fully displayed. In the prison cell, Sima Yue found out about Sang Muyu's situation from Little Roar and told the Sang family members. Everyone felt a little more at ease. However, Sima Yue was still a little worried. She was still thinking about what Nailan Hong said. Did the Sima family really come to look for her when they left the clan? That shouldn't be the case. Sima Yue muttered, that old fox probably wouldn't agree to let them take the risk. However, in less than 2 days, Ye Guang sent news that made her almost jump up from the ground. Master, young Master Yulin and the rest are here. Ye Guang said. Sima Yue's heart skipped a beat. She held her forehead and asked helplessly, why are they here? They asked. Young Master Yulin said that they were here to gain experience. Ye Guang said. Sima Yue could imagine Sima Yulin's expression when he said this. She asked, who are they? Your 4 brothers are here. Young Master Yu Yang, Yu Lan and Yu Qing are here as well. There are a few more that I don't know, but they are going to participate in the gathering. Ye Guang said. Sima Yue gritted her teeth. How could that old fox bear to let them come here? Isn't he afraid that his grandsons will die? Ye Guang understood Sima Yue's feelings and said, young Master Yu Yang said that his grandfather said that with you around, they won't be in danger. You will definitely bring them to the gathering. Sima Yue's fists clenched and unclenched again. She repeated this a few times before she finally suppressed the anger in her heart and said, old fox, just you wait. Yue, what's wrong? Ouyang Fei's grandmother asked when she saw Sima Yue trying her best to suppress her anger. Nothing much. I just got bitten by the old fox. Sima Yue smiled before saying to Ye Guang, tell them not to run around. Since the Nailan clan knows that they are here, who knows when they will find trouble with them? Yes, master, I will tell them. Ye Guang said. Tell them that if anyone loses an arm or a leg, I won't be able to fix it for them. Sima Yue added, so don't be curious about everything and don't rush forward. Yes, master. Ye Guang relayed Sima Yue's words to Sima Yu Yang and the others. Sima Yu Yang nodded seriously, saying, even if we don't lose an arm or a leg, we won't run around. I can already imagine how Yu looks like right now when she's hopping mad. Sima Yu Qing covered her mouth and laughed. That's right. She's obviously younger than us, but she always takes the position of a protector and takes care of us. Sima Yu Lan said, seeing her like this, I can't even relate her to that little guy from Dongqin Kingdom. Although Yu is angry, what she said is right. We can't go out alone. The Nailan clan is eyeing us covetously. Yu Lin said. We know that. Sima Yu Yang said, I just don't know if Yu would be so angry that she would vomit blood if she knew that we came here to break the relationship between the Nailan clan and the South Eclipse Kingdom. Sima Yu Lin glanced at Sima Yu Yang and said lightly, you can try. Tell her and see her reaction. Chapter 264. Crazy Wife. The Fifth Miss of the Godly Doctor. Chapter 264. 1, 2, 3, Fall. Author Sima Yue asked Little Roar to walk around the palace whenever he had time to see if he could hear any news. Needless to say, Little Roar, who had no sense of direction, managed to hear quite a few things even though he kept getting lost. She told Sima Yue, then told Ye Guang, who then told Ouyang Fei and the rest. Other than that, she did not really care about what was happening outside. After all, this was Ouyang Fei's territory, so she just had to cooperate with him. A few days passed very quickly, and the entire capital was enveloped in a tense atmosphere. Seeing that there were more and more patrols on the streets, as well as more and more unfamiliar faces, the locals knew that something big was about to happen. On the evening before the announcement of the execution, Sima Yue received a notification from Ye Guang, saying that everything was ready and that she just had to bring people and kill them the next day. On the morning of the second day, Sima Yue told them that someone was coming. Very quickly, a group of guards walked in. Master Sang, we are here to send you on your way. The leader of the guards said coldly as he walked in front of Sima Yue and the rest's prison. Sima Yue looked at him calmly and said, "Just the few of you? It's already considered your honor to have so many people here." The leader of the guards said, "You are now just a bunch of useless people. Any random person can get rid of you. Let's go." "Fine, let's go. Open the door," Sima Yue said. The guard saw her cold expression and snorted. He waved his hand, and a jailer came up and opened the door. The Sang family members all came out. "Let's go," the leader of the guards urged. "We can walk on our own. We don't need to trouble you to lead the way for us," Sima Yue said with her own voice. "What did you say?" The leader of the guards looked at Sima Yue and felt that her voice was not right, so he looked at her cautiously. Sima Yue smiled and returned to her original appearance. She smiled and said, "I said I will bring them out. You don't have to worry." "For you." The leader of the guards took out his weapon and pointed it at Sima Yue. "Don't be like this. You won't even have the strength to do this soon. Save your strength for now." Sima Yue smiled evilly and looked at the number of guards. 1 of 3. Bang! Bang! As her voice fell, the guards all fell limply to the ground. "Yue, this really is useful," the younger generation of the Sang clan exclaimed in surprise. Sima Yue picked up a jade bottle from the ground and covered it with a lid, saying, "The poison that I refine is definitely something that can even kill a spirit emperor. This can only be used in a sealed environment. I'll show you other poisonous powders when we're outside. Let's go." "We'll go pick up Aunt Yu first and take care of some people in the palace while we're at it. Let's go." Outside the palace, Little Roar patted his paws and said, "This is Yu Yu's newly developed poison. How do you feel? Do you feel like you're going to faint?" A group of guards pointed their weapons at him. They did not expect him to fly around and scatter a lot of white powder. Hearing him say this, everyone felt dizzy. "Oh no, we've been poisoned." Those guards fell down one after another, all of them unconscious. Sang Muyu brought 3 palace maids out. Seeing the people on the ground, she said, "You killed them all?" Little Roar shook his head and revealed a pure expression, saying, "How could I do such a cruel thing? I only made them all faint and let them sleep for a few days." "This powder can make them sleep for so long?" Ching Ching asked. "Of course." Little Roar said, "This was developed by Yu Yu. If she says it can, then it can. All right, Yu Yu said that they're already out. Let's go and meet them." "All right." Little Roar. Sima Yue's voice sounded. The 4 people and 1 beast looked over and saw a group of people rushing over. "Mother." Sang Muyu ran towards them and came in front of Ouyang Fei's grandmother. Looking at her emotionally, she asked, "Mother, are you guys all right?" "We're fine. With Yue here, how could anything happen to us?" Grandmother said with a smile. Sang Muyu looked at Sima Yue and said, "Thank you. Fei Er is really lucky to have a friend like you." "Aunt Yu, you're too polite," Sima Yue said with a smile. "Has Little Roar been harassing you these few days?" Sang Muyu did not understand what she meant. Sima Yue rubbed Little Roar's big ears and said, "This guy is a little lecherous. When he sees a beauty, he drools and can't walk. He must have been harassing you a lot these few days." Sang Muyu laughed and said, "Little Roar is very cute. All right, let's go. Let's put down the people in the palace and then go out to meet up with Fei Er. I just caught someone to ask and he said that Ouyang Dong has already left the palace." "All right, let's go," Sang Muyu said. Sima Yue and the others walked all the way from the palace to the outside. With Little Roar scattering the powder in front of them, they practically walked straight out. Knowing that Ouyang Rua and Nailan Hong had gone to the execution grounds, Ouyang Fei also went there directly. Because the rest of the Sang clan had been brought there, they also rushed there. In the inn, Ye Guang told Ouyang Fei that Sima Yue had already brought the Sang clan out of the palace. Clan head, Ouyang Dong came out from the side hall and has already gone to the execution grounds. A guard reported, he captured the rest of the Sang clan and is waiting for the people in the palace to bring Madam and the others there. The others are all within expectations. Ouyang Fei stood up and said, "Grandfather, bring some people to take care of the Li clan." I'll go and settle things with him. All right, you must be careful, Sang Luan instructed. I know. Grandfather, you. Ouyang Fei said. Sang Lun brought his men and left. These few days he already knew the strength of Bei Gong Tang and the others. He also knew that Chong Ming was a sacred beast, so he was more at ease when he left. Fatty Chu stretched out his hand and said, "These 2 years, I haven't had a real fight. Today I can finally loosen up my muscles and bones." "We're not fighting today. Take it easy," Wei Ziqi said. "I know. That's why I've already made preparations," Fatty Chu said as he took out a few sets of equipment and distributed them to everyone, saying, "I made this when I had nothing to do. Although the rank isn't very high, it can still defend against average attacks. It can't even defend against high-ranked attacks. What's the point of using it?" Sima Yuyang said. "This is to prevent others from harming it in times of war. If you don't want it, you can return it to me," Fatty Chu said as he stretched out his hand to snatch it back. Sima Yuyang stepped back and put on the armor, saying, "I couldn't tell that your craftsmanship was not bad. This thing looks a little thick, but it doesn't weigh much when I wear it." Peng dash. Suddenly, an attack landed on his stomach, causing him to retreat 2 steps. Sima Yuyang steadied himself and looked at the perpetrator, asking, "You ran, what are you doing?" Chapter 265. Sima Yu ran calmly looked at Sima Yuyang who was about to jump up and down, saying, "What's the rush? I'm just going to see if this thing is really as useful as Fatty Chu said. This little bit of strength can't hurt you." The people in the room couldn't help but laugh when they saw the 2 of them. "Let's go." Ouyang Fei's originally nervous mood relaxed after the 2 of them interacted with each other. We should go as well." Sima Yulin said, "If we go alone, we might be ambushed by the Nalan clansmen." "That's true." Sima Yuyang nodded. Thus, the group of people left the inn in a grandiose manner and headed towards the execution ground. Not long after Sima Yue led the Sang family out, they were stopped by a group of people. "Madam, Master asked us to come and pick you up," the leader said. "Where's Master?" "Old Master has already gone to the Li family and wants to stop the Li family's people midway," the leader said. "How many people are there in the execution ground?" "Every family has sent quite a few people over. At present, there are no less than 1,000. "Did Fei go?" Sang Muyu was most concerned about her own child. His Highness should have already set off for that place. "Where's my friend?" Sima Yue asked. "They all went too." Sima Yue was a little worried about the Sima family and said to Sang Muyu, "Aunt Yu, since the Sang family's guards are already here, I will go and meet them first." Sang Muyu knew that she was worried about them and said, "I'll get someone to lead the way for you. Be careful." "All right." Sima Yue and a guard met Ouyang Fei along the way. When they saw a group of Sima family members following behind him, their faces fell. "Brother, didn't I tell you to stay at home? Why did you come here?" Sima Yuming saw her angry little face and stretched forth a hand to rub her head, saying, "Grandfather and I are also worried about you." All right, just one sentence was enough to make her unable to refute and unable to get angry. "Sai, you're clearly the youngest. We were clearly the ones protecting you in the past. When did you start to worry for us?" Sima Yuqi said as well. "Don't forget, we can also protect you now." The tension in Sima Yoyue's heart was instantly released. That's right, she wanted to protect them and their warm home, but she had neglected their desire to protect her as well. She nodded and said with a smile, "All right, I'll wait for my brothers to protect me." After speaking, she even rubbed against Sima Yuming's hand. That's right. We're brothers, you know?" Sima Yulu huffed. "Got it." Sima Yue said, "In the future, I will protect Grandpa and my brothers, and you will protect me. We will protect each other." "All right. We also need your protection." Sima Yuming looked at her dotingly. Sob, 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 I'm so happy. Sima Yuyang was extremely envious as he came over and said, I'm your brother too. You have to protect me too." Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him and said, You have Fatty's armor to protect you, you don't need me. No way, I want you to protect me. Sima Yu Yang acted shamelessly. Sima Yu Qing face-bombed. How old are you? Aren't you embarrassed? Sister, Rainbow will protect you too. You will be Rainbow too, right? Rainbow flew over from Chongming's shoulder and grabbed onto Sima Yue's clothes. Sima Yue placed Rainbow on Chongming's shoulder and said, "But you have to stay with your husband now. He will be able to protect you better." Rainbow knows. Rainbow will be obedient. Right, hubby? Rainbow said. Chongming patted Rainbow's head and said, "Don't be with her in the future. She will lead you astray. Also, I am your uncle, do you understand?" Sister said that uncles can also become hubby. You are just my father's friend. Rainbow said seriously. Cough, cough. The group of people were shocked by Rainbow's words, and they all pretended to cough to hide their laughter. They looked at Sima Yue. Was there anyone who taught their child like this? Even if the other party was a little bird that had just hatched, it was not right for her to teach it like this. Chongming's face had already turned black. He looked at Sima Yue, who shrunk her neck and laughed. I was just muttering to myself. I didn't think that it would hear me. That Ouyang, let's hurry over. Your mother and the others might have already arrived. Hearing about his mother, Ouyang Fei immediately became excited and said, okay. Actually, everyone wanted to say that her ability to change the topic was terrible, but she grasped the opportunity well. The group of people continued to move forward. Sima Yue asked, You Yang? Did the old fox really let the few of you come without worry? Sima Yu Yang was helpless towards Sima Yue calling his grandfather an old fox and said, Grandfather said that you came and asked us if we wanted to come along. When the time comes, we will participate in the meeting with you. We felt that we had been cultivating at home for the past 2 years, and it would be good to come out and experience it, so we came. Isn't the old fox too reckless? Sima Yue said, If anything happens to you, how can we participate in the competition? Grandfather said that with you around, we just have to hold on to our last breath. Sima Yue glared at Sima Yu Yang fiercely and did not reply to him. She was thinking about how she would treat everyone to a fox feast when this was over. Very quickly, they arrived at the execution ground. When the soldiers saw them, they immediately pointed their weapons at them. However, they did not charge forward, but retreated with them. The execution ground was located in the southwest corner of the imperial capital. It was as big as 10 football fields. In front of them, there was a jade stage with a dragon throne on it. Beside the jade stage, there were rows of guards. Opposite the jade stage, a group of people were forced to kneel on the ground. Ouyang Fei and the others walked in slowly. The guards did not receive any orders, so they only held their weapons and retreated. They did not attack. A man who looked similar to Ouyang Fei sat on the dragon throne. When he saw Ouyang Fei walk in, his hand on the dragon's head clenched tightly. Ouyang Fei, you really didn't die. Ouyang Dong looked at Ouyang Fei, his younger brother. You didn't die, how could I die? Ouyang Fei stood in the middle of the execution ground and looked at Ouyang Dong without a trace of fear. So many people chased after you that year, but you managed to escape. Today, I will no longer set up an inescapable net. You won't be able to escape even if you have wings. Is that so? But I don't plan to escape today. Ouyang Fei took out his long sword and looked at Ouyang Dong. That year, you coveted my position as the crown prince and sent experts to kill me when I was out, forcing me into the Sophia mountain range. Now that you have used the Sang clan's lives to provoke me to appear, I will settle old and new grudges today and drag you down from that position. Chapter 266. Hearing Ouyang Fei's words, Ouyang Dong laughed loudly. He pointed at Ouyang Fei and said, Today, I've prepared so many people for you. Aside from killing you, I'm also going to kill all of your supporters. The entire Sang family will die. You are only relying on the strength of others. Do you dare to fight me fair and square? Ouyang Fei pointed his sword at Ouyang Dong. Why should I fight you? Ouyang Dong sneered, I have so many people at my disposal, I don't need to fight with someone like you. You only want to rely on external forces to do things. You have never thought of strengthening yourself. People like you will never become strong. You will always be a weakling, a coward. Ouyang Dong was not angered by his words and said, "Wait until I kill all of your family members in front of you. I wonder if you'll still be able to call me a weakling. Let's see if you have the ability." Ouyang Fei sneered. Ouyang Dong saw Ouyang Fei's expression and his heart skipped a beat. He asked the people beside him, "Why haven't you brought Sang Luan and the others here yet?" "Your Majesty, they should have arrived a long time ago," the guard said. "Then why aren't they here yet? Send someone to rush them." Ouyang Fei roared. At this time, a guard stumbled in and came to the bottom of the jade platform, saying, "Your Majesty, not good, the prison has been robbed." "Robbed?" Ouyang Dong immediately stood up and said, "Weren't they heavily guarded? How did they get robbed?" "Your Majesty, I don't know either. We saw that they hadn't come out after so long, so we sent people in to take a look. However, we only saw the guards lying on the ground, but we didn't see any criminals. A bunch of good-for-nothings." Ouyang Dong scolded, "Hurry up and find it for me." "Yes, Your Majesty." The guard scrambled away. "Ouyang Dong, are you looking for us?" "Sang Mu, you brought the Sang clan members to the execution grounds." "Concubine Dowager?" Many people recognized her. "Wasn't she imprisoned in the imperial palace? Why did you come out?" When Ouyang Dong saw Sang Muyu, he was also very surprised. When he saw the Sang family members behind her, his face became terrifyingly cold. "You really did escape." "Yes, we escaped." Sang Muyu said, "When you imprisoned us, I already said that the day we came out would be the day your life ends." Ouyang Fei turned around and looked at Sang Muyu. Seeing that familiar face, his lips trembled as he opened his mouth, yet no words came out. When Sang Muyu saw Ouyang Fei, she quickly stepped forward and grabbed his hand, tears streaming down her face. "Mother." Ouyang Fei held Sang Muyu's hand and said, "I've made you worry all these years. Since you're still alive, why didn't you send the news back earlier?" Sang Muyu wanted to hit him hard, but when she reached his face, it turned into a gentle caress. "I'm sorry, Mother. I didn't know the situation here, so I didn't dare to show myself." Ouyang Fei said apologetically, "Originally, I wanted to wait until I became a spirit emperor before coming back. That way, I would have more confidence." "This child, becoming a spirit saint is easier said than done." Sang Muyu said, "Don't tell me you intend to not come back until you become a spirit saint." "Mother, I'm almost at the spirit emperor level. At the latest, I'll reach it before the end of this year." Ouyang Fei said, "What? You're already a high-level spirit grandmaster?" Sang Muyu asked in surprise. Ouyang Fei nodded. Good, my son is amazing." Sang Muyu said happily. When Sima Yue saw them together, she suddenly missed her own parents. She didn't know what they would be like when they saw each other again. She tugged on Bei Gongtang's skirt and whispered in her ear, "You guys stay here. I'll go with them to deal with the Nalan clan." "Will it be all right for you guys to go?" Bei Gongtang asked. "Don't forget that we all have divine beasts." Sima Yue said, "I don't see anyone from the Nalan clan here. However, I can feel a strong aura over there. I think they should be there." "Then you guys be careful. If you can't handle it, call Chongming over." Bei Gongtang said. "I know." Sima Yue nodded. She waved her hands at the Sima family and quietly left the execution ground. "Fifth bro, why did we come out?" Sima Yulu asked. "Didn't you guys come because of the Nalan clan?" "Of course we're going to deal with them. Ouyang's side is fine, there's no need for us." Sima Yue said. "If they fight like this, the entire capital will be affected." A disciple of the Sima family said, "The royal family has secret guardians. Who do you think those guardians will help when the time comes?" "Those guardians won't appear." Sima Yang said. "But aren't those guardians supposed to protect the emperor?" Sima Yulu asked. "That's not it." Sima Yu Yang shook his head. "Those guardians will only appear when the South Eclipse Kingdom is in danger. They don't care about this kind of internal conflict." "That's right. These guardians don't care who the emperor is. As long as you're from the royal family, even if you kill everyone and leave only one person, they won't appear. However, if someone else comes to kill the royal family, they will appear. Sima Yuqing said. This is also to adapt to the survival of the fittest. Sima Yue said. Fifth bro, do you know how many people from the Nalan clan have come? Sima Yuming asked. The people who came this time are not weak. There are 10 spirit saints and 10 spirit paragons. Sima Yue said, the strongest should be Nalan Hong, a 4th-ranked spirit paragon. Looks like the Nalan clan doesn't care about this. Sima Yuyang said, 10 spirit paragons. If this kind of group isn't strong, then what is? Sima Yue said. They just didn't think that we would have so many divine beasts. Sima Yuran said. Furthermore, Chongming hasn't appeared in the continent for 2 years. They probably thought that he had already gone up to the upper realms. Sima Yulin added. At that time, Sima Ke had brought his people to escape and told the Nalan clan about the situation of the Sima clan. However, they didn't know much about the Nalan clan. If it weren't for the fact that Sima Yue had tamed so many divine beasts and obtained the Scarlet Queen Bee and regularly provided the clan with scarlet honey, they would definitely be at a disadvantage in this competition. If they see Chongming, they will definitely regret participating in this matter. Sima Yulu said with a smile. Oh right, Sima Ke has come as well. Sima Yue said. The Sima clan members were stunned. Sima Yu Yang kept his smile and said, Grandfather said that if we meet those who betrayed us, we should execute them on the spot. Then we don't have to be merciful. Sima Yue clasped her hands together and said, But I didn't intend to be merciful from the start. Everyone rolled their eyes. Then what was she talking about? Wasn't she just teasing them? Chapter 267. They arrived at a tea house not far from the execution ground. As soon as they entered, they heard the waiter say, I'm sorry, everyone. We are not open to the public today. No problem, we're not here to drink tea. Sima Yuyang said. Then we're here to look for someone. Looking for someone? We don't have anyone here, we're here to look for those people upstairs, Sima Yue said and raised her voice. Sima Yue, why are you still hiding? Bang. The door of the private room upstairs opened and Sima Ke came out. When he saw Sima Yue, he shouted, How dare you come here? Today I will avenge my brother. Sima Yue scratched her nose and said, You? This is not the way to daydream. Your sacred beast has not appeared for a long time. Let's see how you escape today. Sima Ke said. Is your brain filled with bean dregs? Sima Yue looked at him with disdain, pulled out a chair and sat down, saying, You want to touch me with just the few of you? Even if Chongming is not here, you are still no match for us. Shameless boasting. A middle-aged woman walked out and came to Simk's side. She's the one who killed your brother? That's her. Sima Ke glared at Sima Yue. If it wasn't for her, my brother wouldn't have died. Since we've met, then leave your life here today. That woman said. Aya, you're so angry after hearing that I killed Sima. Could it be that you're his lover? Sima Yue chuckled. Impudent junior. Matron Ao shouted. Sima Yue dug her ears and said, Don't yell and scream, it'll affect your image. You're already old and ugly, and now you're shouting like this. If I were Sima Yi, I wouldn't like you either. Shut up. The woman's sore spot was stepped on, and she was about to explode. Third sister, why do you care about her? A few more people walked out of the house. They were all spirit emperors. It's just a dozen or so juniors. What's the point of talking to them? Just kill them. An old man said. That's right, isn't our mission this time to kill the Sima family? They're just a bunch of little people. There's no need for us to work together. Simak, since they're from your previous family, I'll leave it to you to deal with them. Alright. Sima Ke nodded and prepared to attack Sima Yue. All of you step it. I will avenge my grandfather. Sima Yue stood up and began to condense spiritual energy in her hands. She completed it before Sima Yue and took the initiative to attack him. Bang. Sima Ku was hit before he was ready and fell down the stairs. Third level spiritual emperor. The people upstairs saw Sima Yue and cried out in surprise. Third level spiritual emperor? How could this be? She doesn't look that old. How could she be a third level spiritual emperor? Sima Yue came to Sima Ku's side and stepped on his chest, saying, "It's not that I want to criticize you. 5 years ago, you went to Dongchun country and you were already a high-level spiritual grandmaster. After so many years, you're only a second-level spiritual emperor. If I had your talent, I would have killed myself. 2 years ago, you were only a second-level spiritual grandmaster. How could you be a spiritual emperor so quickly?" Sima Ku spat out blood and shouted, "Of course it's because I'm talented." Sima Yue smiled and said, "Back then, your family framed my great-grandfather and the rest. They had no choice but to escape and bear the injustice for 100 years. Since we're both surnamed Simas, I'll give you a quick death." After speaking, she exerted force with her foot, planning to stomp him to death. Stop. The puppet in the other private room shouted and exerted the pressure of a spiritual elder, wanting to stop her. However, it was useless against her. Ka-ft. Sima Ku spat out a mouthful of blood. His head tilted up and then fell back, dead. "How dare you? I already told you to stop, but you still killed him." Nailin Hong came out of the room and glared at her. Sima Yue calmly retracted her foot and glanced at Nailin Hong, saying, "Are you stupid or stupid? You're not related to me. Why should I listen to you? I clearly know that you want to protect him, so why should I stop? Even if you're brainless, you're not." "As expected, it was a mistake to let you stay," Nailin Hong said. He looked at Sima Yue, his heart filled with regret. In 2 years she actually rose a level. This kind of talent is rare in the world. If she was in my Nailin family, it would be fine. However, she's a member of the Sima family. She even has a grudge against them. This kind of person cannot be left alive. The other spirit paragons had the same thoughts as him. They looked at Sima Yue with murderous eyes. "Sima Ku has already attached himself to our Nailin family. You actually killed him in front of us. Today, none of you will be leaving." Nailin Hong said, "Yu, why are you still talking nonsense with them? Just get rid of them. Don't we have to go back and support Ouyang?" Sima Yulu said, "Let's end this quickly." Sima Yulin said, A few brats want to kill us? Who said we're going to attack? Are you stupid?" Sima Yang called out his divine beast after he finished speaking. Seeing that he had called out his divine beast, the others also called out their divine beasts. In a moment, the tea house was filled with divine beasts. The Sima family is really rich. They even have divine beasts. The lady who spoke first said, "But you want to fight us with just you." At this time, Little Roar suddenly appeared on the second floor, saying, Yu, it's settled. When did you come over? I'm dizzy. Brat, what did you do? Bang bang dash, those spirit saints fell one after another. Little Roar took this time to run back. What did you do to them? Nailin Hong was shocked when he saw them all fall. I didn't do anything. I just tested whether or not my knockout drug could knock them out. Sima Yu said with a smile, it's been proven that this drug is useless on you spirit paragons. However, it's effective on spirit saints. This is great. Now there are only 10 spirit paragons left. It's much easier. Sima Yang said with satisfaction. It's just a few divine beasts. How dare you be so arrogant? Who said we only have a few? Sima Yang said as he called out another divine beast. A divine beast of 1 rank was equivalent to a spirit master of 2 ranks. Sima Yang and the others' beasts were all around the 5th or 6th rank, similar to Nailin Hong and the others. The Nailin clansmen saw that they had called out a few more divine beasts and finally looked at them seriously. Yaguang Little Rock, 1000 Resonance, come and play. Scarlet Bees, you want to play too? Then all of you come. Sima Yu's voice fell and 4 divine beasts appeared beside her, shocking the Nailin clansmen. Chapter 268. The fact that so many divine beasts were contracted to a single person was a huge blow to the Nalan clan's spirit supremacies. Even after they became spirit paragons, they would only have 1 or 2 spirit paragon-level spirit beasts, but she alone had several divine beasts. How were they supposed to survive? In particular, the entire younger generation of the Sima family was like this, which was much stronger than the Nalan family. Sima Yue had improved a lot in the past 2 years. When she was promoted from Spirit Grandmaster to Spirit Emperor, Yaguang and the others had also improved a lot. Sima Yu Yang and the others' contracted beasts were the same. Because of the Imperial Beast art, they followed their masters and rose in rank. Those mythological beasts that were unwilling to be contracted were now thankful that they were captured. Leveling up was like drinking water. How great was that? Alright, everyone, let's go together. The earlier we finish this, the earlier we can go and help out. Sima Yue said. A fight had already broken out in the execution ground, and they could hear the sounds of battle from where they were. Whoever kills the most spirit paragons will be rewarded with a bottle of Yu Yu's scarlet honey. Sima Yu Yang shouted at those contracted beasts, causing Sima Yu to roll her eyes. However, she did not refute Sima Yu Yang's words, and tacitly agreed. Those spirit beasts already knew that she had the scarlet honey. Seeing that she didn't refute, they knew that she agreed. One by one, as if they had been injected with chicken blood, they flocked towards the Nalan family. The Nalan clan's people hurriedly called out all their contract beasts, but they still couldn't resist the attacks of so many divine beasts. Sima Yue and the rest took the opportunity to go outside. They sat on their flying beasts and occasionally attacked those people. It had to be said that the Nalan family's spirit paragons were very unlucky. They originally wanted to meddle in the affairs of the South Yu Kingdom and develop the Nalan family's influence, but they didn't expect that they would encounter a group of abnormal people like the Sima family. Their spirit beasts were like cabbages, beating them until they didn't have the strength to fight back. Especially those who ambushed them. Every time, they would stab them in the back. The battle here also attracted the attention of the other battlefields. Those who didn't know thought that this was only a part of the battle. Those who knew about the Nalan clan were all shocked. That was a group of spiritual paragons. Who were they? Even the Nalan clan's people were being suppressed. Ouyang Dong was protected by a few spirit paragons in the center of the Jade platform. Seeing Ouyang Fei's powerful battle prowess and the Sang clan's people, as well as Sang Luan's connections with the other powers in the capital, Ouyang Dong was about to break through his own ambush. Just as he was about to send out a signal to the Nalan clan's people for help, he suddenly discovered that the Nalan clan's people were fighting with others. A group of divine beasts had surrounded them in the air. Who are those people? He was shocked. They're all wearing masks. It doesn't seem like they're from the Sang clan. The spirit paragon beside Ouyang Dong replied. When Sima Yue left the tea house, she gave each of them a mask. Just now, they were in the crowd and the others knew who they were, so they were not eye-catching. Now that they were wearing masks, no one would realize that it was them. In fact, even the people from the Sang clan were surprised. They didn't know who these people were, but they knew that there was a spirit paragon from the Nalan clan on the other side. The people fighting with them were definitely from their side. The people from the Nalan clan were not weak, but they were defeated by Sima Yu Yang and his group of divine beasts. Very quickly, the battle with the Nalan clan ended. 10 spirit paragons were killed, and their contracted divine beasts died. After that, Sima Yu Yang brought a few people to deal with the spirit paragons. They sat on their own flying beasts and flew directly to the sky above the execution ground to support Ouyang Fei. Chong Ming watched from below. When he saw Sima Yue on Little Rock in the middle, he never thought that she would have already strengthened herself to such a degree. The person who had run away in a panic in front of him back then had already grown up. He stood in the execution ground and did not do anything. The attacks that came from the attacks dissipated automatically around him. Rainbow was on his shoulder, jumping and jumping. When she saw all kinds of spirit skills, she cried out excitedly. When Ouyang Fei saw Sima Yue's flashy group, the corner of his mouth twitched. He pointed at Ouyang Dong, saying, "Today, the two of us will settle this. As for the others who are willing to surrender, we won't kill them." His words caused the chaotic scene to quiet down. Those who were fighting stopped and looked at him. Ouyang Fei glanced at Chongming, and Chongming immediately released the aura of a sacred beast, causing the entire capital to tremble. Transformed divine beast. He's that sacred beast. Didn't he leave the Yi-Lin continent? Why is he still here? Heavens, His Highness actually brought a sacred beast back. They have a sacred beast, what are we still fighting for? That's right, didn't he say just now that those who surrender will not be killed? Let's hurry up and surrender. Right. Once Chongming released his aura, the entire situation became one-sided. Even the spirit paragons could not remain calm. This sacred beast was not something they could fight against. Chongming had said that they had the power now, so he would not act rashly against them. However, he could let them borrow his power. Thinking of borrowing power, he thought of Sima Yueyue's contracted beast. What would it be like if he came out? Ouyang Fei took 2 steps forward, saying, "Those who surrender now will not be killed." Many of the guards looked at Ouyang Fei, then looked at the 10 spirit paragon-ranked flying beasts in the sky, and threw the weapons in their hands to the ground. Many spirit paragons and spirit paragons surrendered as well. Ouyang Dong's face was pale, and he retreated 2 steps, as if he could not believe that Ouyang Fei had turned the situation around just like that. You are heartless for the Emperor, vicious and merciless. Even the guards of the royal family are not willing to sell their lives for you. Just based on this, you are a failure. Ouyang Fei said, "You are narrow-minded and jealous. That year, when father appointed me as the crown prince, you secretly plotted against me. Haven't you always hated me? Today, I'll give you a chance. Come here and we will fight fair and square. The 2 of us will settle our old and new grudges." Ouyang Dong looked at Ouyang Fei, his gaze fierce. After that, he took out his own weapon and attacked Ouyang Fei. Sima Yue sat on Little Rock, watching the battle between Ouyang Fei and Ouyang Dong without any worry. "Yue, how many moves do you think they can take?" Sima Yuyang asked Sima Yue, who was beside her. 10 rounds. Sima Yue said, if Ouyang Fei is willing to reveal his trump card, then 3 rounds. She had long since seen through Ouyang Dong's rank. Although she was older than Ouyang Fei by a few years, her rank was lower than Ouyang Fei's by a few ranks. Furthermore, her footsteps were weak, and her battle prowess was completely lacking. As expected, just as she said, Ouyang Dong was killed by Ouyang Fei in less than 10 rounds. Not even a scrap of him was left. Ouyang Dong died, and his men all surrendered. The battle that had lasted for close to a day finally came to an end. Sima Yue glanced at Ouyang Fei, and directly led the Sima family away. They landed at a place where no one was around, kept their contracted beasts, changed into their outer clothes, took off their masks, and returned to the inn where they were staying. Chapter 269. Sima Yue and the others rested in the inn for a while before Bei Gong Tang and the others returned. "How is it?" Sima Yue asked as she poured them a cup of tea. Wei Ziqi walked over and sat down, picking up the teacup and downing it in one gulp, saying, "Oh, Yang went to the palace. Initially he wanted us to go as well, but we weren't used to it so we came back on our own." Sima Yue laid her head on the table and said that Ouyang fellow might become the emperor of South Yu in the future. That's right. When we left, we heard quite a few people talking to him about ascending the throne. Fatty Chu said, "In the future, we can do whatever we want in the South Yu kingdom, ha." Sima Yue laughed heartily. They looked at her with disdain and said, "Forget it. Even without him, you can still do whatever you want." "Nonsense, I'm so weak, how can I walk sideways?" Sima Yue said, "But I think Ouyang will be very busy these few days and won't have time to take care of us. We have to be careful when we go out. Everyone outside is talking about who the team riding the divine beasts are. Everyone is curious about you." Fatty Chu said. Wei Ziqi also said, "Luckily you all wore masks. Otherwise, based on the current situation, it wouldn't take long for this to reach the ears of the various large clans. I knew this would happen, that's why I had them wear masks." Sima Yue said, The experts of the Nalan clan have all been killed. This time, the Nalan clan is going to vomit blood. Just thinking about it makes me happy. Now they're going to vomit blood. Fatty Chu smiled as he said, "We originally wanted to stretch our hands into the South Yu Kingdom, but we didn't expect to suffer a double loss, losing so many spirit paragons and spirit emperors. This is not a small loss for the Nalan family. It will also affect your meeting this time." Wei Ziqi said. "Yu, when do you plan to attend the gathering?" Bei Gong Tang asked. "Don't worry, there are still 2 months before the event. We can leave 1 month earlier." Sima Yue said, "Let's see if Ouyang still needs our help before deciding." "That works too." "Oh yeah, if Ouyang stays, do you guys want to stay too?" Sima Yue asked. The three of them did not expect Sima Yue to ask such a question and were stunned. After a while, Wei Ziqi said, "Our goal is to go to the higher realms with you. No matter where we cultivate, it's all the same." Fatty Chu scratched his head and said, "I still want to go with you." After all, he had followed her out in the beginning, and their current achievements were all achieved with her help. He had a certain degree of dependence on her. Only Bei Gong Tang said with certainty, "He won't become the emperor of South Yu." "I think so too." Wei Ziqi said, "Ouyang's ambition does not lie here." "Sai, when can we go to the upper realm?" Sima Yue said, "I wonder how Master is doing now." "It won't take long." Wei Ziqi said, "Our current cultivation speed is not slow. I believe that we will be able to go in a few years." "Actually, you don't have to worry." Bei Gong Tang said, "You have Master's soul imprint on you. As long as it's still there, Master will be fine." Sima Yue touched her own forehead. In her sea of consciousness, there was still a faint figure sitting next to the soul refining art. After experiencing a huge battle today, everyone did not cultivate tonight. Instead, they gathered in the courtyard of the inn to drink and chat. They went to rest after midnight. A group of young people gathered together and drank without restraint. The next day, they all complained of headaches. Sima Yue boiled a large pot of Chinese medicine for them. The bitter taste made the group of people complain incessantly. Ouyang Fei did not appear for 4 to 5 days. He only came to the inn in the evening on the 5th day. Sima Yue just happened to bring in a plate of roasted chicken. Seeing that his clothes did not change, she went up to him and looked at him, asking, "Why aren't you wearing that bright dragon robe?" Ouyang Fei stretched out his hand and pushed Sima Yue's head away, saying, "I didn't ascend the throne." "You didn't ascend the throne?" "I've been dealing with these things these few days." Ouyang Fei sat in the middle of them and stretched, saying, "I'm used to being free. I'm not used to staying in there for a few days." Everyone laughed at him, saying, "You grew up in the palace." "My heart is wild. I can't go back." Ouyang Fei took out his bowl and chopsticks and started to eat. "You didn't ascend the throne. Did your uncle say anything?" Sima Yuyang asked. "I found a successor for them." Ouyang Fei said, although it took some twists and turns, they still agreed. "You couldn't have passed the throne to that little brother of yours who's in his teens, right?" Fatty Chu said. "He's in his teens now. In a few years he won't be." Ouyang Fei said, "Being able to survive under Ouyang Dong's oppression means that he's not weak. But he doesn't have the same mother as you. Will the Sang clan agree?" Wei Ziqi asked. "His imperial mother passed away a long time ago. My imperial mother has always taken good care of him, so I got my imperial mother to adopt him. This way, he can ascend the throne and the Sang clan won't say anything." Ouyang Fei said, "It's just that I might have to stay in South Yu for a while." "You've left South Yu for so many years. You should spend some time with your mother." Sima Yu said. Ouyang Fei had the same thoughts. He had left for so many years. Now that he saw his mother, he wanted to spend more time with her. "However, even if I'm not with you for the time being, I will still cultivate. When the time comes for you to head to the upper realms, I will go with you." "Okay." Ouyang Fei went back after eating dinner. Sima Yu even wondered if this guy had guessed that they were eating and came back to scrounge for food. After that, Ouyang Fei disappeared for a few days. When he appeared again, he invited them to attend his little brother's ascension ceremony. Sima Yu and the others guessed that they had never attended such an event before, so they agreed. Others didn't know, but the Sang clan knew that Sima Yu and the others had played an important role in this event. They were very grateful to them and treated them as guests of the royal family. They expressed their gratitude to them again and again. During the ascension ceremony, Sima Yu saw Ouyang Fei's little brother. Apart from Ouyang Fei, he was the only child who had survived the battle of the royal family. He was 16 or 17 years old. He was about the same age as when she met Ouyang Fei. Although his cheeks were still young, his gaze was mature and wise. One look and you could tell that he was a capable person. The entire process was tedious and complicated. Sima Yu and the others went back after the ceremony and didn't stay for the banquet. Things here were more or less settled. Sima Yu found her and told her that they could go to the venue of the banquet, Saint City. Sima Yu didn't understand why it was called Saint City at first. Later on, she found out that it was a place ruled by the Sage Pavilion. Thinking of the Sage Pavilion, Sima Yu couldn't help but think of the man who had stolen her first kiss. Chapter 270. Somewhere on the peak of a mountain, a purple-clothed man sat on a chair, looking at the ring in his hand in boredom. Fire Qilin sat on the chaise lounge and looked up at him, saying, "You're not thinking about that person again, are you?" "That's right, why not?" Wu Lingyu turned the ring in his hand. This ring was similar to the illusion ring he had given Sima Yu. It was a pair with the one he had given her. "I can't figure it out." The Fire Qilin shook its head. "The Saintess came back especially for you, but you always avoid meeting her. It's been a few years, and the number of times you've seen her in private can be counted on one hand. But I can't even count the number of times you've looked at this ring. You can't figure it out?" Wu Lingyu smiled and said, "Actually, I can't figure it out either. Sigh, she's clearly just a little girl. Why do I keep thinking about her?" "If your eyes aren't damaged, then you're blind." The Fire Qilin said disdainfully, "Why did I follow such a blind master? So embarrassing." Wu Lingyu did not refute. Not only did the Fire Qilin look down on his taste, he also did not understand. They had not seen each other for so many years, but her appearance had never faded. Recently, he would always think of her. How was she now? Did she think about what level her strength was at? Did she think about whether there were other men around her? Thinking of the last question, Wu Lingyu felt a little restless. What if that girl had forgotten about him after so many years? He would not allow such a situation to occur. Recently, the Hall Master has been in seclusion. Why don't I go and inspect the situation of the Sage Pavilion in the Yilin continent on his behalf? Wu Lingyu did as he said. After finding an excuse for himself, he immediately got up and walked outside. When the Fire Qilin saw this guy in a hurry, it looked at him with disdain and helplessly followed him. Wu Lingyu came out of the pavilion and coincidentally bumped into the holy daughter of the Sage Pavilion. Seeing her, Wu Lingyu immediately pretended to be very weak. "Lingyu, where are you going?" Wu Lingyu looked as if she had just noticed her. There was a hint of surprise on her face as she smiled and said, "Oh, it's Wei Wei. I'm not feeling well, so I want to go back and have a look at my master." "Are you feeling unwell again? How about I take you there?" Bai Weiwei looked at him worriedly. "There's no need. With Qilin with me, I won't trouble you. The Hall Master is in closed-door cultivation and I have to go back. I'll need you to stay here and look after the Sage Pavilion." Wu Lingyu declined politely. "But can you go back like this?" Bai Weiwei wanted to go up and support him, but he took 2 steps back to avoid her. "With Qilin here, nothing will happen." Wu Lingyu took the opportunity to lean on Qilin. Although Fire Qilin despised him, he was still very cooperative. He supported him and said to Bai Weiwei, "Holy Maiden, you don't have to worry about him, I will bring him back." Bai Weiwei put down her hand and said, "Okay, you have to protect him." "I will." The Fire Qilin transformed into its original form and let Wu Lingyu sit on it. "Wei Wei, about the Sage Pavilion, leave it to me, I will take care of it," Bai Weiwei said. "All right, then I'll leave in peace. Qilin, let's go." Wu Lingyu finished speaking and patted Fire Qilin's back. Fire Qilin carried him and soared into the sky, leaving the palace. It wasn't until they were far away from the palace that Wu Lingyu returned to his original form. He laid on Qilin's back and put his hands behind his head, very comfortable. Aren't you going to the Yilin continent? Why should I run? Fire Qilin stopped and didn't leave. I'm going, but before I go, I have to see Master. He said before that he wanted to go to the Yilin continent, so I'll take him there. Wu Lingyu said. What's so good about that place? Fire Qilin said, Is your master looking for someone? No, he's looking for a kind of medicinal herb. He said it can only be found in the Yilin continent. Wu Lingyu said. Don't you know? Why don't you take him? Fire Qilin didn't understand. Who knows what that old man is thinking? Wu Lingyu said, That old man is so strange, maybe he just wants to go for a walk. Well, you master and disciple are all jackals of the same tribe. Fire Qilin sped up and quickly left the sage pavilion far behind. They came to an uninhabited valley. Wu Lingyu took out a one-way transfer array and threw it on the ground after activating it. When the transfer array lit up, they walked in and quickly disappeared. Not long after they disappeared, Bai Weiwei rode a snow-white spirit beast and followed. Master, their aura disappeared here. The spirit beast landed in the valley and said. Bai Weiwei came down from the spirit beast and saw the transfer array stone on the ground. She said, This is the transfer array stone that Lingyu used to go back. Unfortunately, the array on it disappeared after one use, so it can't determine the location of the immortal Devil Valley. Master? The spirit beast saw that she was somewhat disappointed and wanted to comfort her. It doesn't matter, at least it proves that he really went back and didn't go outside to find another woman. Bai Weiwei said with a smile, Lingyu can only be mine, who dares to fight with me. She didn't finish her sentence, but the transfer array stone in her hand turned into fine powder. She let go of her hand and the powder fell to the ground. Let's go back. She sat on the back of the spirit beast and left the valley. On the other side, Wu Lingyu appeared in a quiet valley. He didn't know which mountain he was in. Suddenly, his body moved, and then he smiled coldly. What's wrong? Fire Qilin asked. Someone moved my transfer array stone. Wu Lingyu said. Who would touch a stone? Fire Qilin knew that he would inject a bit of his divine sense into the transfer array stone. Hearing him say this, someone must have moved. Bai Weiwei. Wu Lingyu said, It wasn't easy to change the holy maiden. I thought she would be better, but I didn't expect it to be the same. Although the previous one was a bit annoying, she was still sincere. This one looks fake. Fire Qilin criticized without any trace of politeness. Yes, Yu is the most real, not fake at all. Wu Lingyu said. Fire Qilin gave him a supercilious look. Everything was good for her, really hopeless. Wu Lingyu came to a ginkgo tree and threw a few array stones in. The entire valley changed, as if it was a different place. He walked in, then waved his hand. Those array stones flew back to his hand, and the valley returned to its former appearance. Them back. He came to a thatched hut and shouted inside. An old but crisp voice came from inside the hut. I know you're back, brat. Come here, I just happened to research something that can nourish your soul. Wu Lingyu was speechless. Every time he came back, it was like this. After so many years, this old man still didn't give up. He didn't go in but stood at the door and said, Old man, I'm going to the Yilin continent. Didn't you say you wanted to go together? Let's go. A lean old man came out of the house, grabbed his hand, and dragged him into the house, saying, Wait until you soak in this before you go. I spent a lot of effort, don't waste it. Dong. A certain person was thrown into a pool with his clothes, and began who knew how many hundreds of medicinal baths. Chapter 271. When Sima Yue and the rest left South Yu Kingdom, Ouyang Fei went to send them off but did not go with them. In the near future, when the grand tournament was held, he would go with the South Yu Kingdom's people as a guest to watch their competition. The holy city was located in the middle of the 4 countries, but it did not belong to any country. It was a free place. However, no one dared to behave atrociously in this place without a city lord. This was because no one dared to offend any of the forces in this place. The Sage Pavilion had a supreme position in the hearts of the commoners. Even if they didn't believe in the Sage Pavilion, they wouldn't dare to say anything bad about the Sage Pavilion. When Sima Yue was listening to other people's introductions, she faintly felt that the Sage Pavilion's position was higher than all the other powers in the continent. It was above all the other powers and countries. Other than the Sage Pavilion, there were also the Alchemist Guild, Weapon Masters Guild, Beast Tamer Guild, and other guilds. They were the highest level of organization in each guild. If one could join this place, the status of a member would be even higher than that of the president of other places. Therefore, this place was not under anyone's control, but no country dared to invade and monopolize it. Sima Yue and the rest used the transportation array to arrive at the border city of the South Yu Kingdom. Because she was sick from the transportation array, everyone decided to rest for a day and take the flying beast to the sacred city tomorrow. Although the sacred city had a relatively high status, there were no teleportation portals from the outside world to enter. After reaching the borders of various countries, they could only use flying beasts to enter. Sima Yue and the rest arrived at an inn. As the event was about to begin, there was a shortage of rooms in the inn. They had no choice but to share a room in pairs. They booked the last 10 rooms. Everyone, this is your room number and key. The waiter handed the key to Sima Yuyang. Let's go. We'll bring you up to rest first. Sima Yuyang said with a smile. Every time he saw her faint from the teleportation array, he was so happy. Cough, cough, this is not good, not good. Sima Yue could tell that the guy was gloating. She glared at him, took the key to a room, and left. I'll go with you. Sima Yu ran followed Sima Yu. Her brothers all knew that she was a woman, and they didn't want their sister to stay with other men. Sima Yu Yang distributed the remaining keys to the others, and everyone chose their own people to stay with. At this moment, 2 women walked in. One was dressed in a white dress, while the other was dressed in an enchanting red dress. Both of them were extremely beautiful. Waiter, give us 2 rooms. The woman in red said to the waiter. I'm sorry, but all the rooms in the store are already full. The waiter said apologetically. Full? The woman in the red dress frowned. Yes, the last 10 rooms were occupied by them. The waiter pointed at Sima Yu Yang and the others who had yet to go upstairs. Why don't you go to the other inns to take a look? We've already visited all the inns here, and none of them have a room. This is the last one. The red-dressed lady said, think of a way to get us 2 rooms. Oh, dear guest, I'm really sorry. We really don't have any rooms now. The waiter said awkwardly, why don't you ask them if they can give you a room? What? You want us to go and get it? Do you know who we are? But Red Cloud. The woman in white called out softly, interrupting the woman in red's words. Senior sister. Red Cloud reacted after being called out by the woman in white. She remembered that she had promised her master that she would not use her status to pressure others. The woman in white came to the front of the Sima family and smiled, saying, everyone, you've seen the situation just now. Can you give us a room? We'll just stay for 1 night and return the room to you tomorrow. Sima Yu was still on the stairs. When she heard the commotion, she didn't go up. At this moment, when she heard what the lady in white said, she said, Yu Yang, since they're all outside, why don't you get everyone to move out a room for them? Sima Yu Yang was a little surprised. He did not think that Sima Yu would say something like this. However, he still nodded, saying, we're only staying for 1 night. You guys can squeeze together and give us a room. The person who was called out handed the key in his hand to the woman in white. The woman in white smiled at him, then raised her head to look at Sima Yu, saying, thank you. Sima Yu nodded at her, then turned around and went up the stairs. After a while, Sima Yu Yang, Sima Yu Lin and the others came to see her. As they chatted, they asked her why she gave the room to the 2 women. Sima Yu lay on the bed saying, those 2 women are alchemists. Alchemists? Sima Yu nodded, saying, also, The rank of the woman in white is not low. I can smell the faint scent of medicine on them. It's something that can only be found in places filled with medicine for a long time. You can smell it even though you're standing so far away. Do you have a dog's nose? Sima Yuyang laughed. Sima Yu rolled her eyes at him and continued. When the one called Red Cloud wanted to reveal her identity, she was scolded by the lady in the white dress. I feel that the two of them should be people of status. Anyway, it's not a big deal. Giving a room might be good karma. Sima Yuyang pursed his lips, saying, I think you just can't bear to do it because they're beautiful. Beautiful women are good. Beautiful women are easy on the eyes. They're much better than someone like you who's made of mud. Sima Yu said, How am I made of mud? There was once an ancient saying, women are made of water, men are made of mud. If you're not made of mud, then what are you? There's such a saying? Sima Yuyang was stunned. Of course there is. Then aren't you made of mud too? I'm not going to talk to you about this. Sima Yu said, Yulin, do we have a place to stay in Saint City? We won't be like them and have nowhere to stay, right? Don't worry about that. We have our own house in Saint City. Sima Yulin said. That's good. Sima Yu said, then began to chase them away. I want to rest. You can all go back. Once they had all left, Sima Yu sat beside the bed and looked at Sima Yu's little face, saying, Fifth bro, when will you be able to regain your identity? It's not a good idea to dress up as a man all the time. I don't know why my father told my grandfather to dress up as a man. However, since he told me to, it must be important. Maybe it has something to do with my family. Who knows, maybe I'll be able to after I find my father. Sima Yu said. That'll still take a few years. Sima Yu sighed, saying, Some girls are already mothers when they're your age. Cough cough, third bro, why are you talking about this? You're talking about the average citizen. 20-something is still very young for a spirit master. Don't make me sound like an old lady. Sima Yu quickly interrupted him. This topic was not suitable for her. Chapter 272. The next morning, Sima Yue and the rest were preparing to leave. When they were checking out, they bumped into the two women from yesterday. The woman in the white dress smiled at them, but Hong Xia's attitude was much more arrogant. Thank you for giving us a room yesterday, allowing us to avoid sleeping on the streets. Jade said with a smile. You're welcome. Besides, you already thanked me yesterday, Sima Yue replied. Sima Yuyang checked out and walked over, saying, Let's go. Otherwise, we won't be able to make it to Dragon Reflection Mountain by tonight. When Jade heard Dragon Reflection Mountain, she asked, Are you guys going to Holy City as well? Are you guys the same? Sima Yuyang asked. That's right. Since we're all going to the Holy City, why don't we go together? You wouldn't mind the two of us, right? Jade said with a smile. Senior sister. Hong Xia frowned in disapproval. It's fine. Jade said to Red Cloud, It's on the way back anyway. Are you from Saint City? Sima Yuqing asked. That's right. I came out on my master's orders and was just about to head back. Jade said. That's great. We've never been to Saint City before, and we're just looking for someone to lead the way. Sima Yuyang said with a smile, It's a blessing to have two beauties to accompany me. Although Red Cloud was very dissatisfied, she seemed to listen to Jade, so she could only follow them. After leaving the small city, they would head north. Flying beasts would take them 2 days to reach the holy city. In the middle was a boundless mountain range. There was only a small town on Dragon Reflection Mountain that was used as a place for cultivators to rest. They needed to get to the town before nightfall. Fatty Chu was not familiar with this place and asked suspiciously, Can't we stay in the mountains? Why do we have to go to the small town of Dragon Reflection Mountain? You've never heard of the 10,000 Beast Mountain range before? Jade asked in astonishment. Fatty Chu scratched the back of his head and said, Never heard of it. What a country bumpkin, you don't even know this. Red Cloud looked at Fatty Chu with disdain. Jade didn't look down on them and said, The holy city is in the 10,000 Beast Mountain range. This 10,000 Beast Mountain range is different from other mountain ranges. At night, you will sometimes encounter spirit beasts, which is especially dangerous. It's even worse if we encounter a beast tide. It was Sima Yoyue's first time hearing about it as well. She mumbled, could it be that the 10,000 Beast Mountain uses American time and the time is reversed compared to other mountain ranges? What did you say? Jade didn't hear clearly and asked. Cough cough, it's nothing. Sima Yue asked, that small town on Dragon Reflection Mountain should have a formation or barrier protecting it, right? Jade said, in order to serve as a place to stay, the people of the Holy City built a small town on the relatively safe Dragon Reflection Mountain. They even invited an array master from the upper realm to set up a protective array. Since it's so dangerous, why not set up a teleportation array? Wei Ziqi asked. There used to be, but the space there became unstable, so the teleportation array could no longer be used. Jade explained. Then let's change locations. Fatty Chu said. Jade smiled and shook her head, saying, the Holy City has been in that place for over 10,000 years. Naturally, there's a reason for that. You can't migrate just because you want to. Since the 10,000 Beast Mountain is so dangerous, aren't the two of you worried when you come out? Sima Yuyang asked. Dragon Reflection Mountain isn't too dangerous from here. Furthermore, there will be people waiting for us at Dragon Reflection Mountain. Jade said. Now that we're out of the city, let's use our flying beasts. Hey, our flying beasts are very fast. Don't lose track of them later. Red Cloud said. You don't have to worry. Sima Yuyang said, why don't you let Little Rock out? He's the fastest. Sima Yuyue nodded. She called out Little Rock and got him to transform into his original form. For Winged Rock. Jade was slightly shocked. This was the king of flying beasts. She never thought that they would have this kind of spirit beast. Red Cloud's expression was ugly. She had just taunted them not to lose track of them, but now the other party had taken out an even faster flying beast. This was a slap to her face. Jade was experienced and knowledgeable, so she quickly recovered and said, our flying beasts are not as fast as yours. Why don't we go with you? Sima Yue looked at her calmly without a trace of embarrassment. She nodded her head in agreement. Once everyone was on, Little Rock spread his wings and took off. They quickly left the city behind. The Sima family is worthy of being a first-rate power. They have a strong foundation. Jade sighed as she felt Little Rock's speed. Because Little Rock was very fast, they reached Dragon Reflection Mountain before evening even though they were supposed to reach it. This is a small town? Sima Yue looked at Dragon Reflection Town, which was just a bunch of houses gathered together, and blinked her eyes. This place is small, but it has all the essentials. The equipment inside is still very good. Jade came down from Little Roar and looked at them, saying, we don't lack inns or shops. It's just a little expensive. Let's go in and take a look. Sima Yue jumped down as well, saying. Little Rock transformed into a little bird and flew onto her shoulder. They walked into the small town and thought that it would be cold and cheerless. They didn't expect that it would be bustling with activity. It was full of mercenaries and people who were training. There were also many people like them who were preparing to participate in the gathering. It's hard to imagine that this place can hold so many people. Wei Ziqi sighed. That's right. It's really an eye-opener. It was Sima Yuqing and the others' first time here and were very curious about this place. Jade brought them to an inn in the middle of the street, saying, this is the biggest in here. My seniors said that they would pick us up here. Sima Yue and the others entered and felt many gazes. Two of them were not very friendly. Junior sister. A tall man saw them and walked over, asking, why did you only arrive today? We waited for you for half a month and thought that something had happened to you. We were worried to death. Jade did not like this person very much. She kept her smile and her expression was indifferent. Her voice was also cold. Senior Brother Li, why are you here? Something happened at the Sage Pavilion and called Senior Brother Han over. Master was worried about your safety and asked me to bring people to pick you up. Li Mu explained. Jade replied. Although she did not like this Li Mu, things had already come to this point and she could not say anything more. These people are? Li Mu did not forget that Jade had been chatting and laughing with them when she entered. A cold light flashed in his eyes. They are friends that we met on the way here, Jade said. After that, she instructed the waiter, "Waiter, prepare a few rooms for them." "I'm really sorry, young Miss Jade. The rooms here have already been reserved by your seniors. There are no more rooms available now," the waiter replied. "Since senior brother has reserved it, then let them stay," Jade said. "Junior sister, I'm sorry. This room has been prepared for the Nalan clan." Chapter 273. Nalan clan. Jade frowned and said, "The Nalan clan isn't here either. Since we're keeping it, let's give it to the Sima family first." Li Mu said, "The Nalan clan has already arrived and will be here today. Can't you give us some rooms?" Jade was a little angry. "Junior sister, I've already spoken with the Nalan clan. It'll be hard to explain to them when the time comes." Li Mu said, "Fine, I'll give this place to you. I'll take them somewhere else," Jade said angrily. "Junior sister, you only met them on the road. Why bother with them?" Li Mu said unhappily. "They helped me before and I said that I would take them to Sacred City. How can I abandon them halfway? Since you said that you'll wait here for the Nalan clan, then I'll go with them," Jade said and left. "Senior sister. Junior sister. Young miss. Senior brother, senior sister. What should we do now?" Red Cloud looked at Li Mu. Li Mu sneered and said, "All the inns in this town are full. Junior sister will go in vain. When there's no place left, she'll naturally come back." "Then those people," Red Cloud said worriedly. "Don't worry about them. It's best if they're dead," Li Mu said and went back to the table. Jade only remembered Sima Yue and the others when she reached the street. She turned and said to them, "I'm really sorry about just now. Senior brother Li has always been like this. I'll take you to the other inns." Since she said so, they couldn't say anything else and followed her. "Is that senior brother of yours very powerful?" Fatty Chu asked. "His talent is good, so my father likes him very much," Jade said, "but I don't like him. I can't stand his arrogance." "Aren't you a young miss?" That was what the waiter called her. "Even if I am a young miss, my talent isn't as good as his. In other people's eyes, he's more important than me," Jade said. "All right, let's not talk about him. Let's go look at the other inns." Unfortunately, they walked the entire street and didn't come across a single inn with empty rooms. It was getting late. Sima Yue said, "Since there's no place, why don't we find a place to camp in the mountains?" "No, it's very dangerous outside. Even if my father and the others were here, they wouldn't dare to casually set up camp outside," Jade immediately denied. "No problem, it's just one night anyway," Sima Yuyang said. I'd rather set up camp outside than spend a night on the streets," Sima Yuqing said. "Miss Yen, you don't dare to live outside now." The innkeeper said, "It's even more dangerous outside now." "What happened?" "The reason why so many people have come to the town recently is because the mountains outside are not peaceful. Everyone has come to seek refuge. If you go out now, wouldn't it be even more dangerous?" the shopkeeper said. "Not even one night?" Sima Yuqing said. The shopkeeper waved his hand and said, "According to the mercenaries who returned, something seemed to have happened in the direction of the holy city. A large number of spirit beasts are heading this way. If you don't want anything to happen, it's best to wait here for things to pass." "Oh right, how could I have forgotten about this?" Jade frowned. "What's wrong?" Sima Yue asked. Jade sighed, saying, 10,000 Beast Mountain has this kind of situation once every few years. The spirit beasts in the entire mountain range are very violent. Every time, even the holy city has to activate the city protection array. It takes about a month. Looks like we'll have to stay here for a few days." "That's right, that's it. It's already been going on for half a month. There's about half a month left. Why don't you stay in this hall for half a month?" the shopkeeper said. Everything is first come first served. It's not good for us to ask others to let you in. If it was just 1 or 2 rooms, it would be fine. But there are so many of you, it's really not easy. No problem. Shopkeeper, tell us where there is a spacious place. Sima Yue said. Do you really want to go outside? The shopkeeper saw how stubborn Sima Yue and the others were inside, saying, there's a lake not too far away from here. The terrain there is not bad and it's close to here. If anything happens, you'll be able to run back if you have time. Sima Yu-yang was suspicious and asked, the Holy City has already activated the City Protection Array. Why haven't you activated it yet? Because those spirit beasts will mainly attack the Holy City. That's why we have to activate the City Protection Array. However, the effect is smaller here. That's why we usually activate the normal array. We can only activate the big array when there's a situation. Jade explained. That's right. The shopkeeper continued, saying, this small array does not affect people from entering and leaving. However, once the big one is activated, the small town will be isolated from the outside world. No one can enter or leave. Sima Yue sighed, saying, looks like we came at the wrong time. Jade was a little annoyed and said apologetically, I'm sorry. Because I found what I wanted, I was so happy that I forgot about such an important thing. If I had reminded you earlier, you wouldn't have had to come here. Why don't you stay here for a night and go back to the little city tomorrow? No problem. Since we're here, we naturally have to admire the beautiful scenery. Sima Yue said, I'll bring everyone to gain experience. We don't want to go back either. Sima Yulu said. Since that's the case, I'll go with you. Jade said. You'll go with us? But Sima Yuqing asked, puzzled. It wasn't just her. The Sima family was surprised as well. If it weren't for my carelessness and reminding you earlier, you wouldn't have come here. Jade said. Furthermore, the last room was reserved by Senior Brotherly. I know him well. If I go with you, he might ask them to activate the array later. Young Miss Jade, actually, you don't have to. Sima Yue said. I've already decided. I'll go with you. Jade said confidently. Then all right. Sima Yue agreed. She wanted to understand the situation before going to Saint City. Young Mississippi, a male walked in saying, Senior Brotherly said to invite you back. Jade glanced at that person, saying, go back and tell Senior Brotherly that I'll be camping outside with my friends. After speaking, she ignored that person and followed Sima Yue and the others out of the little town. When Li Mu received the news, they had already reached the little lake. He rushed over angrily but was coldly sent back by Jade. Seeing Sima Yue chatting happily with Jade as they set up the tent, his heart was filled with endless jealousy and hatred. Senior Brother Li, the Nalan clan is here. A little brother walked over and whispered in Li Mu's ear. I got it. Li Mu glanced at them again before leaving with his men. This brat, he would make him pay. Chapter 274. Sima Yue watched as Li Mu left. Her eyes flickered, but she did not say anything. Latest chapter reading. By the time they finished setting up the tent, it was already dark. Sima Yue walked around the tent a few times and threw a few small stones into it from time to time. Then she returned to the fire and threw a red stone into it. She then injected some Reiki into it. Suddenly, white light flowed and outlined a circle and a 5-pointed star on the ground. Defensive array. Jade watched as the light flickered and seeped into the ground. She cried out in surprise as she looked at Sima Yue and asked, You're an array master? Sima Yue did not deny it. After confirming that there was no problem with the array, she said, It's fine now. Sima Yulin looked at the array she had set up and sighed in his heart. This guy's array skills had improved quite a bit in the past 2 years. He was also a formation master, so he had a good understanding of formations. He could tell the strength of a formation just by looking at the light it emitted when it was set up. Although Jade wasn't an array master, she also understood this principle. When she saw the blinding light just now, she knew that her array formation was very strong. I didn't expect you to be an array master as well. Jade saw that Sima Yue was rather low-key and didn't have the arrogance of an array master. Sima Yue smiled. Yue, there should be fish in this lake. Why don't we get some to grill? Fatty Chu said. Sure. There's nothing to do here anyway. Sima Yue said. Thus, the group gathered around the lake and began to fish. They laughed and cursed each other, without the slightest bit of fear. Jade was speechless when she saw this. Lu, come, let's fish together. Sima Yuqing came over to pull her. She was stunned for a moment before she went over as well. Let me tell you, Yu, Fatty and the others make really delicious food. I've eaten the grilled fish they made once, and the taste was so good that I wanted to swallow all the fish bones. Sima Yuqing said as she handed Jade a fishing rod. Ever since they got together with Sima Yue, they were used to carrying all kinds of tools with them. You guys usually eat these things? Jade asked in surprise. Eat, why don't you eat? Sima Yulan came over and said, like what Fatty said, cultivating on a daily basis is boring enough. If we don't make some good food to reward ourselves, we'll be letting down life. Don't you usually eat these? Jade shook her head. Normally, we only eat some spirit fruits and the like. I rarely eat these. Then you've really missed out on one of life's greatest pleasures. Sima Yulan said, in the past, we didn't like to eat it that much. We were all infected by that group of guys. As she spoke, she raised her chin towards Sima Yue and Fatty Chu. She's really a wonder. When he saw Sima Yue happily fishing with everyone, he thought about how she could set up such a powerful array at such a young age. Not only is he a strange person, he's also infuriating. Sima Yuqing said. Infuriating. Jade looked at her in confusion. Sima Yulan smiled and agreed, saying, that's right. This guy was born to beat others down. Don't compare yourself to him. Comparing yourself to others will only lead to death. You'll be angered to death when you see him. Is he very powerful? Jade asked. Towards him, you can't use the eyes of a normal person. Sima Yuqing said, just treat him like a monster. Adash? Jade looked curiously at Sima Yue. How perverted was she to be called a monster by her own family members? Aya, he's hooked. At this time, Fatty Chu shouted and a group of people went to help him pull the fishing rod. Aya, mine's hooked too. It's a big fish. Sima Yue shouted at the same time. Fourth bro, let me help you. Aya, mine's hooked too. Quickly get someone to help me get the fishing net. Just you wait, the fishing net has been taken away by them. Why use the fishing net? Just pull it up. Mine's hooked and ran away again. Sima Yuqing ran over as well, saying, how did you catch it? Why didn't we? Jade saw that they were playing so crazily. They had no respect for their elders and had no sense of direction. She was extremely envious. In their guild, there had never been such a scene. When everyone was together, they competed with each other. There were very few people who treated each other sincerely. Later on, when they caught more fish, a group of people came to deal with the fish before handing it over to Sima Yue and Fatty Chu to roast. When it was very late, everyone was finally full. Even Jade, who usually didn't eat much, ate an entire fish. Oh, I'm so full. I'm sleepy after eating. Everyone go to sleep. Sima Yuyang called out to everyone. As a result, everyone got up and returned to their own tents. Jade asked, aren't we going to leave anyone to keep watch? No need. Yu has already scattered the medicinal powder and activated the array. If anyone is blind enough to cause trouble for us, they will be knocked down before we even get here. Sima Yuqing said. Jade thought about the array that Sima Yue had set up. Thinking about it, that kind of array could only protect a small lake. It was naturally not a problem. As a result, she returned to her own tent to rest. On the morning of the second day, Sima Yue, who was sitting on the bed cultivating, opened her eyes. After thinking for a while, she got off the bed and went out. Why did you come out so early? Seeing the person standing by the lake, she walked over and asked. Didn't you come out early as well? Jade said when she saw Sima Yue. I only woke up because I heard someone wake up. Sima Yue said, Could it be that everyone in Saint City wakes up so early? Jade shook her head and didn't say anything. I see that you're worried. Who are you worried about? Sima Yu asked. Jade didn't think that Sima Yu would be so sensitive. She nodded, saying, I'm worried about my parents. In the past, we were always together when something like this happened. Now that we're not together, I'm worried that something might have happened to them. Didn't you say that Saint City always activates the protective array? Since that's the case, what's there to worry about? Sima Yu said, if you're talking about worry, it should be your parents who are worried about you outside. That's true. Jade said, I'm just afraid that they'll come out to look for me and my brothers when they see that we haven't returned. You're not a child anymore. You know that 10,000 Beast Mountain isn't safe and that Saint City is closed. Why would you still go there? Sima Yu said, your parents will think the same way. I hope so, Jade said. Right, I heard that your senior brother said that something happened at the Sage Pavilion and asked your senior brother Han to go over. Do you know what's going on? Sima Yu asked. Jade shook her head, saying, I've left Saint City for almost half a year. I'm not very clear about the Sage Pavilion. Are you very interested in it? I'm rather familiar with the Holy Maiden. If you want to know anything, I can go back and ask for you. No need, no need. Sima Yu hurriedly waved her hand. I've never come into contact with the Sage Pavilion before, so I'm a little curious. Of course, she completely ignored the evil Wu Lingyu who looked pure on the outside. And the person she had ignored was currently in Saint City thinking of her. He wanted to quickly get rid of the people here so that he could find her. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.